Happy anniversary to you. Happy anniversary to you. Hey, Dub Talk, what do you want for your anniversary? I can tell you things that we don't want because we already have them. The Dub Talk podcast contains adult situations and themes and strong language. So if you don't like those things, mute. Also, this episode in particular may have some trigger warnings, so just letting it out there because, wait, what was I talking about? Tadabanri? The Dub Talk podcast also contains spoilers for any and all anime, including and especially Golden Time. So if you haven't seen those, you better get on that. Especially, just go watch Golden Time if you haven't seen it already. You'll probably need that one in order to understand what's going on. And lastly, the opinions and statements throughout affect the individual participants and do not reflect Dub Talk as a whole. It's just us, not everybody else. And I just wanted to say, oh God, I forgot again. Tadabanri. Tadabanri. Aishite. I love you. Happy anniversary, Dub Talk. What's happening, friends, fans, and fam, and welcome to another episode of the Dub Talk podcast. This is a show where a group of hopeless romantics and possible amnesiacs get together to talk about the latest and greatest of English anime dubs. Wait, what were we talking about?
You said you wrote this out.
Tada.
Concerned
right,
now.
I did.
Tada.
I've got it right here. Tadabanri.
Tadabanri.
I told you not to go on that bridge again. Didn't you pay attention to Sleepy Hollow? Never go to the bridge.
Listen, there's no headless horseman involved. We're fine. We're not gonna die.
There's a headless someone in this show, and I would like to have some words about her.
God damn it.
Tonight is the last of our Dub Talk 5-year anniversary episodes.
Wow.
So did we save the best for last?
Heck no.
Heck yeah.
No, rude.
I'm sorry, we climaxed kind of early with Gunsmith Cats. I don't think anyone's going to argue that.
Listen here.
Hashtag Noah is over party. My name is Gigi, and I will let you be the judge of that, gentle listeners, as I take you down that sweet, sweet road of love whilst having a chat about the 2013 anime Golden Time that received a brand new dub from Sentai Filmworks in December of 2019.
Yeah.
Joining me in that tunnel of love tonight are my car ride friendship zone buddies, Stephanie.
Hello, everyone.
Andrew.
I'm gonna film you on this O camera.
I'm surprised that Andrew isn't over yet right now and it's Noah today instead.
And Noah Clue.
So, should I wear the loose butchy swimsuit or this nice tight Speedo I've been saving for just this occasion?
Oh, sweet lord.
Noah, you have no ass.
Speedo.
That's beside the point.
Notice, fans, that I did not comment on that.
Just because you're right doesn't mean you should say it.
Just because you're right does not mean you're correct, Andrew.
I will say the truth, and they will give me a medal for it.
God damn it.
Who will be canceled in this episode of Dub Talk? Stay tuned to find out.
We'll give you a hint. It's likely there's a 50% chance you're gonna get it right.
That's just... the good thing about being canceled is that 20 years later they'll just reboot you with the nostalgia factor for the older audience.
Once you're canceled in this situation, you're fucking canceled.
All right, well, before we cancel anyone and before we walk across that bridge that may or may not change the rest of our lives, let me tell you why I chose Golden Time as the anime that meant a lot to me.
Please do. I've actually been very curious.
Well, I'll be real with y'all. It was actually my second choice. Whoops.
Yeah, we know that one.
My first choice was an anime that was once licensed in English, but is no longer streaming and entirely out of print to purchase. I'll give you one hint as to what it was, and then I'll reveal it later in the episode because, dun dun dun,
it's relevant.
It has a very vague connection to Golden Time. So I knew I wanted to do an episode on Golden Time as soon as the dub was announced, though, because it is part of the holy trinity of JC Staff romance anime that also includes Toradora, not a fan. And The Pet Girl of Sakura So, huge fan. Luckily, I watched Golden Time before the other two, and I was hooked. I watched it right around when I started up my YouTube channel. And man, I didn't know it at the time, but this was the type of anime I would build my brand around. It is a pinnacle example of shoujo trash. All the melodrama, the angst, the lovable characters. And who knew I'd be talking about it all these years later?
Surprise, huh?
But my other anime did not get a license rescue, and so here we are today, fam.
Admittedly, the deal was when we were picking shows before 2020 started, Gigi's like, I'm gonna do Golden Time. However, if this magically gets rescued this year, this is the show we're doing. I'm like, I mean, that's fair.
But then after a few months, it was like, okay, probably Golden Time.
It was down to the
I
one.
held out until about June.
Yeah, I'm sad it didn't get rescued this year, but hopefully in the future.
There's been a lot of white
Honestly,
whales in the year 2020,
It's true.
so you
No,
never know.
For context for everyone, we are recording this the day after Discotech had a big announcement for like
that's true.
7 or 8 new things that they had licensed, and I think
It was like
Kadocha.
Kadocha
and Grimm's Fairy Tale Classics, yay!
Yeah.
I know, I can't wait.
Kenichi
I
was
can't wait.
rescued. Black Rock Shooter is now a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
So,
But unfortunately,
Kadocha was also in my running for this, but again, not streaming and completely out of print. Golden Time starts out just as any random shoujo trashy anime should. We have a boy in a new town, starting at a new school, okay? Except with 2 key differences. Number 1, the characters are all in college instead of high school. Thank fuck.
yeah.
Already off
And
to a
number
better
2
start.
Yeah. And 2, our main protagonist, get ready for it, has amnesia.
He has the visual
Now,
novel.
Norm-
Well, I mean, that's impressive, but I don't think
Well,
that's a
wait.
reason to base a
Damn
whole
it,
show
Noah,
around him.
Stop
Noah, shut
fucking
up.
spoiling my joke.
Aww.
Noah, you're ruining it already.
Aw.
Stop.
Now, normally at this point, I'd stop watching this show about amnesia immediately and make some snarky tweets about where are all the belts on Tada Banri's outfit. There's your joke. Please enjoy. But his
That was good
amnesia
joke.
is actually... Thank you. But Tada Banri's amnesia is actually one of the key spoilery plot points that everyone seems to put in the show summary for some reason. Tada had an accident right after graduating high school where he fell off a bridge and lost all his memories, so he was forced to spend a year getting his head back together before moving and attending college in Tokyo, where our story starts. There he meets Mitsuo, a classmate from law school, and Mitsuo's semi-fiance Coco, who followed her man to college so she could spend the rest of her life with him.
Stalker.
Semi-fiance. There is a term.
That's like a Real Housewives kind of bullshit right
Yeah.
there.
things didn't
Ha.
quite go according to her perfect plan. Let's just say
Things
that.
didn't
Yeah,
go to
no.
didn't go.
Kikaku.
Hey, Kaku.
Jesus Christ, Noah! I swear to Christ.
Now we ruined your joke. Hijinks ensue, except there are lots and lots of tears and bad decisions, and that's basically Golden Time. It could have been a CW drama instead of an anime,
It really
but
could
here we are.
Okay,
right.
I'll say this. I'm glad I did not read the synopsis that apparently spoiled this. Here's what I went into.
Oh boy, here
I
goes.
went into this show basically expecting a high school dramedy, but in college, with some hijinks and some heartbreak. What I did not anticipate was a surprisingly deep exploration of good people in problematic relationships learning and gradually improving themselves, and the literal existential nightmare that is actually losing your memory and basically dissociating with everything that you know and love.
Yep.
This show needs a fucking horror tag.
Here's the thing with this. GJ, I love the fact that you brought up the whole summary thing being spoilery. I think when the show was airing or right before it, all the information we knew didn't include the amnesia stuff.
Correct.
The tag was supernatural.
Okay.
Yeah,
it
the
is
tag was supernatural, but it didn't include any of the stuff about Bonri's
Look,
amnesia.
But if you-
Clannad is technically supernatural. I did not get that.
And
Don't you bring that
There-
show into this podcast.
That's another
I
show
love
with a character.
Clannad.
Another
I
show
love Clannad,
who
but
has-
oh my god, this one is more terrifying to me
Oh man.
because I feel like this is actually what can happen, and that scares me.
Yeah, that's a good point. Is that whereas something like Clannad and the other key adaptations are more magical realism based, and the characters aren't really characters. This it feels like it's chock full of actual people. Like there are key parts in here where I saw the characters acting the way they were, thinking the way they were, and I kind of looked over at my wife and thought, I'm getting deja vu. Is that a bad thing?
No,
Yeah.
Like I've said
No.
this a couple. I've said this a few times to Andrew when we were watching it because it's actually been. Oh, you said 2013, right? Is when
Sorry,
the show was?
Yeah.
Sorry,
It's been
October. Yeah.
It's been 7 years since I've watched this show. I'm not gonna lie. I've only seen it once, and it was while it was airing. And even I couldn't remember half the shit that fucking happened. But my point is, this show
Just like Tada.
Jesus Christ. Shut up. This
Uncanceled.
show is melodrama as fuck and will play up a bunch of different things, which is why it's so fucking great. But at the same time, I think it's one of the more realistic looks at relationships with people, and also it has its own little twist on like coming of age story in a way. So it's weird, but for what it is, I actually really love that it does that.
All right, fam. Well, let's start talking about this dub so we can knock this out in less time than the series runtime. Sounds like a plan.
Love it. Let's go.
All right, so
With this extra.
we can't really get into this without starting with our director and our writer. Our director is Sentai staple Shannon Reed, who has directed The Awesome School Live,
Yay.
Real Girl,
Yeah.
and Chihaya Furu. And then we have our writer, Marta Bechtal, who for the entire series I thought wrote the first season of Diabolic Lovers, but that's not her.
No.
She wrote Food Wars, Maiden Abyss, and Sarune. This anime dub takes a long time to get, I won't even say good, but to get listenable.
I would say maybe
It takes till about episode 7 for it to really kick
What's
in.
the word I'm
And
thinking
thank
of?
God it's a 2-core.
I think it takes time for people to get acclimated. I think that's what we're trying to say.
Yeah, I'd say it takes a little bit to build into it.
Yeah.
But I will definitely argue and say, I actually think it gets pretty good.
Oh,
Yes.
it definitely gets good.
It just takes its
I
sweet
think-
time to get there.
Yeah, I think about once it hits episode 7,
Mhm.
that was like where I was like, okay, I'm in it now.
Yeah.
Because before I was like, wow, like I'm feeling something really stilted about this writing. Now the stiltedness about the writing continues through the whole anime. Don't get me wrong. There's only very few parts where it doesn't feel very like I'm trying to match lip flaps
Gigi?
to me.
Gigi?
Yes.
Uh-oh.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. I 100% agree with you on the writing.
Oh my God. Andrew's not canceled anymore.
I sent a butt, though. Hold on.
Here's the thing. I will say this. I think there's a lot of... This is a very dialogue-heavy show.
Yes.
And I think the thing that makes it a little tricky throughout the show is that there's a lot of conversations.
Mhm.
I think the problem with some of the writing for the dub itself is a lot of the language feels very literal. It feels very
Yes.
literal, and like this is the kind of thing I feel would have like here's the thing. I know people like to talk about being very straight, very accurate to the original localization, and I think there are times where that works, but I think there are shows that really do benefit from being a lot more malleable with the dialogue, especially when you're dealing with a lot of like, these are college kids. These are stupid, drunken, horny, absolute disaster children. They should be a little more loose with the things they are saying, the
Okay.
things they are doing. and-
I'm gonna jump in a little bit. Again, it's been 7 fucking years since I've watched this show, but I don't recall in the Japanese people using the words boo or emo or things like that. So it does play with it a tiny bit,
It
but I
does-
see what you're saying.
It does play with it a little.
but not enough.
It's not enough is the issue.
Like, here-
I also think that there's a number of times where in general it's it feels like a lot of the more intimate one-to-one conversations where it's like, this feels like this is not how people would talk sometimes, or they're being a little too literal with some language, and it bothered me a little.
To the script's credit, though, and I will say this, it does become a bit more literal and more one-for-one where I think it really actually needs to. Because there are some heavier, darker moments in the show.
I think...
You can't exactly be too loose with that.
I think that those are fine.
Yeah, that's
anything
fine.
that's very emotional, that's very over dramatic, that's out of the fucking box where people are losing their goddamn minds. Those are fine.
It's a balancing act of the sides when it's not that dark and deep and emotional, and it's more lighthearted. I see, 100%.
The main thing I want to chime in is I actually do see your point about the script being a little too loose and...
You mean not loose enough?
Sorry, not loose enough. Sorry, how do I just...
Word.
Somebody's been watching that Dragon Maid video. Shout out to the cartoon cipher.
Oh, shout out to those dudes. They do the good shit. Point being, I will agree with you. I will say that the script is definitely a little tight and almost a little... Let's say it, much like Coco's dancing, it can be at times a little bit robotic.
Gotcha.
That being said,
Yes.
what I will go to bat for is the direction on this dub, especially the core cast. I think for
the core cast, I can partially agree with you.
I think the core cast, the direction on them, especially in the big, dramatic, goofier moments, is strong, solid, and memorable, and several of these performances are really standout. Some of the background characters are kind of hit or miss, though. I'll give you that.
Well, yes.
That being said, the core cast, I will defend and say they are very good.
Okay.
There's... It just...
I will fight for some of those performances. I don't think I'll fight for all of them.
And I think I know which ones you're not going to fight for, because we'll probably be under the same umbrella. And the problem is that this is a very atypical comedy kind of show that has a really weird tight-walk to balance. It obviously wants to... It kind of reminds me of the Domestic Girlfriend dub, where it had a lot of wacky moments, but the undercore of the subject matter, being, like you said, horny teenagers, is indeed very melodramatic. It's soap opera-ish in nature, and that lends itself to the kind of we need to take this seriously, or else it's going to take us out of the experience, and that's a real problem that the dub has. I don't disagree with you guys about the writing, how it excels a lot more in people kind of monologuing to themselves or just expressing how they're feeling, but the conversations are what's kind of lacking. Even the characters that are performing really well, their dialogue is, again, it's not how people speak to each other. I'm sure it's how people feel, but the actual words themselves, like, did I even write some of these down, are kind of... Okay, so there's a bit where Coco is telling Tada that being in a room with the opposite gender is basically cheating. And okay, so
Coco's idea of relationships is very twisted, first of all,
which we will get into. Jesus Christ, will we?
Anyways,
we have the whole Dr. Phil analysis of that woman. Trust me, we will get there.
Yes.
But to keep this section point here, those conversations themselves take me out of it a little bit, and kind of like what Gigi was saying, it's worse in the first episodes where it feels like they were still trying to nail down that balancing act. They didn't have like a base of comparison, because it's like, what other dubs do you look at to say, okay, we want to be like that? You know, there's no Citizen Kane for amnesiac anime dubs, to my knowledge.
I like how you're using Citizen Kane as a possible comparison.
The Citizen
Kane
of amnesiac anime.
I mean, just imagine Orson Welles directing anime. Oh, man.
Listen.
My heart.
Orson Welles directing anime would be fucking stupid.
It would be great.
It would be amazing.
I love how you were saying, like, amnesiac anime, and the first thought in my head is like, you can't have everything like amnesia. Let's, like...
Please, dear God,
let's be
don't
real.
Let's be fucking real.
Yeah, exactly. So, I guess to...
Amnesia is a weird gold mine right there.
Now, if you wanted to... now, here's the thing I'm glad they didn't do. And because this is a Sentai dub, there could have been the possibility for them to mature up the dialogue a little bit, because these are college students. They could have thrown in a few more swears, a few more bad language rolls. They could have turned it into the Beck dub, essentially. which would have been out of place, and I'm glad they didn't do that. But at the same time, they're not really keeping with the fun, looser, we are now living on our own and expressing what it's like to be adults. We are drinking fucking adults now. And I don't really get that from the actual dub. It still has that we're kind of trapped in high school tone to it.
The closest we might get for like loose, like, oh my god, we're adults, we're drunk, is the fucking tea
The
club.
tea club? Yeah.
Which major props to both of those disaster
Oh
bitches.
my
Major
God.
props
Absolutely.
to both
Yeah,
of
they
those
were pretty
disaster
great.
bitches, played by
Caitlin Barr and Natalie Rial.
Yes.
They're amazing. Jesus Christ, I don't want to be anywhere
Oh
near them.
God.
So to play nice to Gigi here, because I went into this again with a very open mind. I'd only heard about Golden Time from an old ANN podcast where they were talking about Clanad, interestingly enough, talking about how sexless Clanad was, and compared it to Golden Time, where even though the guy talking about it didn't really like Golden Time, he still said that it still felt like a show set in college because the characters actually were, and the show treated them like college students. So my expectation going into this was that, yeah, it would be a melodrama set in college. Did not have the expectations for, by the way, I selectively don't remember anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like, for those who haven't caught on yet. So this is the first time Andrew and Noah have watched the show. For those who have not caught on.
we've seen it before.
You have two very fresh perspectives.
Well, yeah. Like, the other thing I want to say is that I don't know if this show were only one core, if it would have gotten the same treatment. Like, honestly, like, the first 7 episodes feel so fucking rushed to me.
Yeah.
Like, the writing feels rushed, the directing feels rushed, the acting feels rushed. Like, there are just parts that I'm just staring at my TV and I'm like, I really like these actors, but what the fuck is coming out of their mouths right now?
Yeah. It's
like, it just, I feel like because it was like a surprise come out of nowhere dub, and this was before the big C word happened. So they had they had time to do it, but I just think that it took everyone a really long time to get into their characters.
Yes.
And maybe that's because that's what some actors do, and I know that some actors do this and some actors don't. Some actors go in and they research the shit out of everything. They'll read the light novels, they will watch the anime a bunch of times and sub before they go in the booth, all that kind of stuff.
right.
And then some actors go in blindly, so they don't know what's going to happen to their characters. So, like, if you're playing Coco and you go into episode 3 and you're like, holy shit, I'm joining a cult now. What the fuck is happening?
Okay.
You get that what the fuck is happening result. But at the same time, like, you kind of need to know what's going on.
Right.
Because this whole anime is set up kind of backwards.
Like, this show
The
has
reveal.
been available for 7 years.
That's the thing, yeah, is that
so
they
it's
Right.
been accessible in this entire period of time.
But I mean, if people don't watch anime and if they don't want to know what they're doing, I can see it as a valid choice to go in and be surprised.
Right.
That's fair, because that sometimes can create genuine reactions that you would need, which is fair.
I'll also say, at least like in the first 6-7 episodes, the tone of this show is different.
It's true.
I think that once it hits the cult, the shit's out the window.
Because what
Okay, that
happened?
wasn't even.
Go
okay,
ahead.
That was dramatic.
So
Maybe dramatic, but that was also like it is not technically I kind of hate to use this term due to certain changing of channels, but it's not technically a big-lipped alligator moment, but it fucking might as well be.
It feels like.
cult thing.
Here's the thing: is
Like
that
it gets referenced,
Yeah.
but
well, here's why I say that is because in the cult episode, that's when Bonri admits that he has amnesia.
it's when he,
And you don't know whether or not you're going to take him seriously or if he's making a fucking
and
joke.
then he opens
And
up,
that's
it's
through
like,
the whole thing until you realize, holy shit, he really does have fucking
it's
amnesia.
a weird way to explain the twist of the episode of the entire show.
Such a weird way to introduce it. You're right.
I don't know if it was like that in the light novel because I don't know if those have been translated or not. And even if they were, I probably wouldn't read them.
I don't think they were licensed. I don't think the light novel.
They have.
Oh,
They
they
have?
No, they have. I have them.
I know.
I haven't read them.
Toradora was, which.
Well,
by the
yeah.
way, I discovered in the midst of watching this, same author as Toradora, Golden
Yep.
Time.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
an interesting discovery, but it makes a couple of things make a lot more sense to me in hindsight.
It does, but to bring back to Gigi's point about why episode 3 also works, it's not just that we find out the twist, it's also, so the whole beginning of the show is Coco claims that she is in love with Mitsuo, this other guy. We'll call him Guy B.
Claims?
Guy
Dude,
B
she's
for good.
obsessed.
But I mean, she could be faking it. But the point is that we're under the impression, not just from hindsight, but also watching the freaking opening of the show, the OP, that no, she is not going to get together with Mitsuo. She is clearly going to get together with what's-his-nuts over here. So it's not, we don't take it seriously. We don't take that pursuit of Mitsuo seriously. So in episode 3, when she finally starts to show, I may have feelings for, I don't remember what's his name, Tadabanri or whatever, then that is when the show finally starts to pick up and we stop, teasing the audience with the whole who will she get with nonsense, because we know it's not going to be Mitsuo.
Here's
Man.
the other thing too, though, is when we were watching it, Andrew and I, he made the comment. He's like, "This whole confession thing is earlier than what you would normally expect." I'm like, "Yeah, there's a reason for it, Andrew." And then we
Because-
found out.
The reason this show is not actually. The romance is an element, but this is not
It's
actually
not the-
about the romance.
it's not the focus.
Which is
It's-
weird. But why
it's
wouldn't you make
not
that?
weird, but that's what makes it interesting.
I think it's just on your perspective, because for me, I see a lot of romance in Golden Time.
There is, yes.
but
It's true. There is a lot.
it's
of romance
also
in it.
about It's also about friendship. but
Yes.
it's also about getting these characters through their insecurities and through things that they need to overcome in order to become adults.
Like-
I'll bring up one more thing about the directing, and this is what I'm going to talk more when we talk about my good friend Tada Banri, is that
We love Tada here.
if we remember that Tada Banri has amnesia through the whole thing,
Mhm.
it makes his performance better.
Yes.
And I will tell you why once we get to Tada Banri.
Okay.
Yes.
However, the lip flap matching with the writing on every other character, just there was one part where Coco was going, "I love you," but it wasn't like that. It was some weird fucking inflections
Yes.
that
I mean,
did not make
I
any
will- I will-
goddamn
It's
Damn
unfortunate.
sense.
It's unfortunate when you have when the animation decides to enunciate syllables that are clearly set to the actual Japanese dialogue, and then you have to turn them into English syllables. That's always a challenge.
Like, you can make that work when the script when script can work around it, but I don't
Right.
think this script was quite strong enough to work that around. That's my thing. I think
Yeah.
the script is strong and has good moments, but I feel like it's not as consistent or as loose throughout as it really
could have-
deserved to be.
At least on the
Yeah.
lighter moments, it could have played it a little bit more. I
That-
would have loved to seen a bit more of the the played up
That-
melodrama. Honestly,
That being said, I will go to bat for Shannon's direction on this, and I feel the core cast throughout really grows into it.
they
and
grow
are really,
into it, but it's very rough to start.
Yes.
I'm gonna defend it. That
It takes a
bit to get
long
there.
It
time.
takes
It
a
takes
bit.
too
I think
long.
it's worth it. I think it gets there, and
It-
I'm satisfied with the result, and that's my stance, and I will fight you
But
on that.
he's tapping my shoulder like I'll fight you on that. Apparently he's gonna fight me now. I will agree with majority of that. By the end, it's 100% worth it. But it
Oh,
takes
yes.
a bit to get there. Is the key part.
If you're someone who's never seen the show and is following the 3-episode rule and you're watching
No.
it dubbed only,
Don't do the 3-episode
Don't.
rule.
do that.
You're
I-
not
Three-episode
gonna
rule is
survive.
such a shit show to do this with, because third
It
episode is the cult, which is apparently
That's
the
a great-
most important episode in the fucking show. That's where he gets the mirror. That's like one of the most important things.
No.
in
The
the
mirror is episode 4,
Oh.
sweetie. The mirror is episode
Yep, yep.
4.
Okay.
Now, I
So
can
you
just
wouldn't
imagine
even get that.
people following the 3-episode rule, like first 2 episodes. This is okay, but I'm not really digging it. Episode 3, and now we're going to be abducted by a cult. I'm getting interested now.
God, how...
Oh my god.
I mean,
I
I
cannot
would.
That's
believe
not-
the cult is relevant.
No, that's actually that's not uncommon. Actually, Japan has unfortunately does have not an influx.
No, I
but
know it's actually a real
has
thing. I saw
no,
Mike
no.
Tools panel.
a
For
bit
the
of a
folks-
problem with fringe
folks
religions
at
popping
home,
up.
For the folks at home, when we got to episode 3 and the cult thing, I covertly tried to record a little video of Andrew and his reaction to him finding out it was a fucking cult. And I sent it to Gigi and Noah on Twitter, and they got a fucking kick out of it.
I didn't even.
He was like, "Wait, what?"
I didn't even know
Andrew
she was
reacts to
filming till
cults.
after it was
Yeah,
done.
I was being covert about it. It was funny.
You know the
God,
Fine Brothers are gonna sue
I
us
just-
now, right?
Cool.
Wah,
Fuck-
wah,
fuck
copyright
'em.
react.
Fuck 'em.
So I just want to say that I feel like I'm kind of being incredibly harsh during this segment, but if you understand the fucking way that the anime goes through,
Yes.
I feel bad that I don't think I'll be able to get somebody new to this to watch the dub unless they get to the middle of the first half. Like
No, it
it takes a
honestly,
very
it's
long
valid.
time to grow into it.
I mean,
Like,
and that's
it's-
when it gets good.
Yeah,
Mhm.
like the show itself also takes a little bit to like get into story wise,
Yeah.
which is part of I
that's-
think is another piece of the problem.
That's another thing.
But
too.
no, dub wise, it does take a bit for like the writing and the performances to really kind of like really take off, and that's when it gets good and it really starts to hit a lot more. I
I'm
think.
still glad I stuck with it.
Oh
and,
yeah.
and I'm gonna be the
Yeah.
one dissenter who says that like I agree with these guys. It's weak at the beginning and it does get better, definitely after the third point. But I don't think it reaches like the levels that the show had. It had ambitions that it couldn't quite match up to. So if you're
Okay.
on the fence between, I'm sorry, I don't usually say this, but I would honestly say that the sub is a slight bit better than the dub on this one, and not just for that first part of it, but like even by the end of it, like the final episodes have some very great performances when we get our like emotional breakthroughs that lead into the finale of the show. But again, you have to listen to a lot of just mediocre voice acting to get to that.
Listen here, I was crying like a bitch by the end. All right.
I was laughing. I'm
Me
sorry at some of these
too.
some of the deliveries. I was like, sorry.
Okay. Anyways.
I mean that's
It's all- it's all
to each
good.
their own.
Wow, we
That's
are
fair.
actually gonna cancel Noah tonight. This is gonna be great.
No, because I understand where he's coming
No,
from,
yeah.
and to be quite frank with you, Yui Horie is like my favorite Japanese voice actress ever,
Yeah.
and she plays Coco in this, and she also sings both the theme songs. I think the endings too.
I think so.
She's
yeah.
fucking phenomenal, and to
Yeah,
like
Yui Horie is really
live
good.
up to that, like it's
It's a high
It's a
bar.
tall order.
difficult.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
So
just
I understand
So-
that too.
I think I may have been like a little less harsh on this if this was a dub from say maybe 10 years ago. Like I was listening to Mahoromatic, which is a dub that came out back in the mid 2000s, I want to say, and then I listened to Golden Time and I'm like, these two kind of sound similar. It's like they're in that same level of trying to balance the serious and the comedic portions of
I like
it.
how you said that. Because my
Yeah,
brain
that's true.
here's the thing. I was writing some of my notes earlier after we finished watching the show, and
Mhm.
you know how I'm usually a stickler for like a lot of slang terms being used
Yeah.
in a lot of writing.
Yeah, you don't like that.
I'm
shit.
usually not a fan of it. So like boo or emo side, I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I don't specifically remember who it was who said this. A different script writer has said before about their writing process is sometimes what they have to do is write the show for the time that it came out,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is the case here with Marta's writing, that she had to write a show that came out in 2013.
I don't think so. I think it's more a case of sticking too closely to the translation because Okamura was in the sub.
Yep.
And they took
No.
the fucking Tada Banri joke out
But-
like
But
entirely.
you,
made no
you kind of
sense.
get what I'm saying, though. Like they had to take what was done at that time.
Oh god, I just got that. Oh camera. Fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a Japanese thing that didn't make sense. Also, I don't know if you
I
guys
did
watched this.
not get that. Okay.
Did you guys watch this with where the pop-up explanations of some cultural things exist?
Once or twice? Yeah.
No, I watched it on Blu-ray.
They
yeah, we
had-
watched it on Blu-ray.
They should have
To
had
which-
that on there because Sentai does that. Like sometimes they'll have.
There was
They sometimes do.
There was like one or two times in the show. I
to
remember.
which, side note about the Blu-ray version,
Defect.
there's a defect on it, guys.
Yes, and the last episode of disc 1 of the Blu-ray, you cannot skip the opening.
It's not the last episode. It's actually episode 8.
Yeah.
Is it?
For us, it was
I thought
episode
it was the last
8.
one.
It was for us. It was episode 8. Where
It's
it
the
kicked
second to last episode of the disc. That might be why
That's
you
what
confused
happened
it.
for us. Unless hers is different, then that's a
Okay.
different fucking defect all on its own.
Oh, great. Then there's 2
Oh
defects.
god, it didn't happen to us on the
One
last
of them you
episode
can't
of the
skip
disc.
the
It happened to us
opening.
on the second to last episode of the disc.
Oh boy, we are going into it tonight, Christ.
Wow.
I can't remember. It's whatever I told you guys in the chat. All right, I'm done with this. I'm done with my salt for now
Oh.
because we're about to talk about one of the most important characters and one of the reasons why my tie-in for this episode
Still
means so
works.
much. But we're
She's
also gonna talk
still
about
getting her
2
episode
more.
regardless.
I am. So we're gonna talk about like kind of the side chicks, the side dudes. They're just friends in this little friend group. We're gonna talk about Oka, who is played by Caitlin French. She's part of the film club. Mitsuo starts off really in love with her and she rejects him and then she regrets it. This causes a lot of drama. She's played by Caitlin French. We're going to talk about 2D, who gives up 3D girls and everything in the
fucking
3D
love
world,
2D.
much like the dude in The World God Only Knows.
Contrary to popular,
he
this
just
is not the same
rejects
character
people.
in that virtual band that you guys all love.
Huh?
No Gorillaz fans in this audience? Really?
Oh,
None?
that took me a second.
Oh.
God damn it,
Wow.
Noah.
Noah, shut your
I was
fucking
thinking
whore
about
mouth.
Udapri,
Yeah,
sorry.
I think one of these art characters would know more about music than the rest of you.
Yes,
Oh,
2D
Noah,
is played
you
by
are
Gareth
getting
West.
canceled tonight, fucker.
I want to be double
Oh my
canceled.
god.
You're gonna be called.
And then we have the best girl, who is Tata Bonri's neighbor. We have Nana, no last name, played by Kira Vincent Davis. Nana, who looks suspiciously like the Nana from Nana because she's a rock star and looks exactly the fucking same. That was my first choice anime.
Mhm.
Yeah, surprise.
The end.
So what she actually wanted to do for this was Nana, but because Nana is not legal right now, Golden Time. I think we
Yes.
were talking over each other. Did you say who plays 2D?
Gareth West.
Cool.
So let me run down some credits for you really quickly. I would also like to point out that Nana in both the Japanese and the English dub is not played by the Nana who is in Nana.
Mhm.
Yes.
So they're all different people. Actually, in Japanese, Nana is played by the girl who plays Tsumugi in Idolish 7, who is married to Otoya in real life.
Shit, good for
There-
her.
Nice.
There's your bit of Gigi Seiyu time today. So Nana's played by Kira Vincent Davis in the English dub, who I mistakenly thought was in a bunch of stuff, and then I realized it wasn't her. This will be the case for 2 other people in this podcast. She played Lucy in Elfin Lead, Anna Hart in Kaleido Star, and Mio in Strike Witches. Gareth West, who I've met, he's a super cool human being, plays Takeda, the coach who looks like Yuri Katsuki in Haikyuu, Seiya Takahaya in Sarune, and Yasuda in Haven't You Heard I'm Sakamoto. And then Oka is played by Caitlin French, who plays Mei Tachibana, the lead in Say I Love You, Shiro in No Game No Life, and Kana Makino in Tamako Market and Tamako Love Story.
Still got to see those.
I also do.
I never
I
watched
still
them.
need to watch the dub of Say I Love You. That's another one that I've watched like years ago, but never got around to the dub for.
You don't need to.
Oh, sad face.
Ouch.
That was also on the short list for this episode, but I decided I didn't want to do that to myself again. I know. So I just like, man, once I saw fucking Nana in Golden Time again, I'd forgotten
Like,
that she was in Golden Time. I was so happy.
I was legit taken aback. I'm like, wait,
I looked
actually?
At him. I looked at him. He's
She's-
like, "What the fuck is happening?" I'm like, "Yeah."
Which,
No-
from
no.
what I'm told, the connection is just that the author is just a big fan of Nana.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's self-insert.
As she should be.
Now, Andrew, have you actually seen the Nana anime or read the manga?
Have you seen?
I
it?
have no prior history.
Okay.
Neither. No, here's the thing. Neither have
Oh.
I, but I know it by reputation, and that's interesting. That the character is just so
The
Iconic?
The design was so like prolific, where it's like, okay,
Yeah.
that is just that's just that.
Yeah, I remember I was watching this. I think I was watching it with Jen, and I looked at her like, Jen had no reference for this, obviously, but I said to her, "Is that Nana?" And then, yes, full on, it said, "My name's Nana." And I'm like, "Oh my god, it is!" It wasn't just a one-off thing
it's a
either.
Fucking trip.
As someone who has watched
No.
Nana, yes.
All right. So we're just going into Nana first, right?
I mean, we're just going wherever
anyone
the
you
stakes
really
is.
want to talk about. Yeah, I'm just starting with that. Also, fun fact: you can find Nana in bookseller Skullface, whatever your name is.
Skullface.
Yeah, she's in there too.
Skullfaced Honda-san.
Yes.
Huh?
She's in that. Cool.
Huh, I didn't know that.
It just keeps
you
popping
can find
up.
Nana in lots of places.
Okay. Cool.
She's amazing.
She's
So.
amazing.
Taking into consideration that Nana is based on Nana from Nana, I should really say her last name. I think it's Osaki.
I think she's Ozaki.
She's based.
I got their names pulled up if you want them.
No, it's fine.
She's based on a rock star. Looks exactly like
Yep.
her. So if we're going on that, Nana in the Nana anime really isn't mean. She's very standoffish and very cold because she doesn't want to get people close to her.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what this character is. She's very standoffish, she's very cold, but she's also kind of mean. She punches people a lot. And I thought Kira Vincent Davis did a really great job.
Yeah.
Conveying that fact. I didn't get so much of the warm fuzzies from her, but then again, when this Nana had the warm fuzzies, she wasn't exactly talking.
You didn't get the warm red bean
So-
soup feeling from her?
She would
No.
do nice things and basically be like, piss off, fuck off.
Well, I get...
Exactly.
The only time I think she ever really broke that is when Bonri basically kind of breaks down and tells her everything that's going on with him and his relationships. And, like, she basically is like,
No.
oh, fuck you. Dude. Fuck, I feel like such an asshole. Christ. Is basically the way I can describe it, is that he
Well, she-
basically just lets it all out. And, like, she can't even, like, pretend
She gets mad at herself because she wasn't listening.
She's
And
like,
she flat out admits that, like begrudgingly says, "I gotta admit, you two are like my two favorite people in the world." And it's kind of, it's killing her to admit that she's got a heart.
I think honestly, she sounds the most natural female performance.
I
in here.
honestly can agree with that.
She's tied at least with one other character, and it
I
might also be
see-
because she's got she has less lines than any of the other female characters, and when she does show up, she's always progressing the plot in some way. So she's a welcome change to the cast, even if
she doesn't have a ton of lines on with what she has. Like I can hear like the grungy punk rocker in Kira's voice, and I honestly love the fuck out of it.
she's just a lot of fun.
Me
and She's just
too.
really, really spunky.
No, I love
badass.
it. It's great.
She's a dick, but she's a dick with a heart of gold.
It is exactly what I would have expected Nana to sound. It makes me wonder, even though it is not available legally, how much. And Gigi, maybe you can help me on this one, because it's been years since I watched the anime Nana. How close Kira sounds to the Nana in Nana.
Not at all.
Not at all. I'm wondering, like, if Kira has seen what at least a little bit of what the other Nana is and tried to emulate it at least a little bit.
I don't think so, because this sounds
think so?
completely different, and also the characterization just in this English dub alone is pretty different.
Yeah.
And the Golden Time Nana is also more hardcore than
Mhm.
the
That's
Nana.
true, she is.
So she's trying to really like amp up that stereotype.
And the important thing is that
So,
you don't have to
um,
have seen or even know anything about the original Nana to get this character. She fits in this universe just
No,
fine.
you don't.
No.
Yeah,
She's just fine and accessible. I just, like, again, it's been years since I watched Nana. I'm just wondering if, like, Kira had the ability to, like, have a little bit of a reference point, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's definitely possible. I just think the performances are way different. But that's for
No,
a
yeah.
different a different podcast. I really liked Nana. She can rock
Yeah.
her way into my heart every day. Side note, there is
Love
singing in
her.
this, but it is in Japanese. Coco
I thought so.
does
Yeah,
her
it's
own
Japanese.
singing ish. I guess it's kind of like I don't even know what you want to call it.
Screaming.
It's not like
Metal?
yeah, screamo.
You
It's
know
like
what I-
screamo.
Yeah.
Screamo metal.
You know something I feel like we've all completely forgotten about? These are law students.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. We don't have confirmation if Nana is a law student. But
Nana
Oh,
is not a
I
law
would love to
student.
see her in law
Like,
school.
I would just like the record
everybody
to
else
show,
is.
I don't believe any of these bitches could make it as law students. The only one I believe has a shot is Linda.
Yeah.
Linda's
Yeah.
the only one I honest to God believe could make it in
I
the
see it.
legal firm.
I see it.
Everybody else, no.
my
Coco would
God.
just go fucking straight Elle Woods on that bitch, like, on that shit, like.
Okay, now I want that now. Why would you give me this?
You're welcome.
I actually want to see Coco go legally blonde.
Yeah.
now.
Why not, right? You can see it.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Legally
great,
golden.
right?
Holy
Welcome to-
shit.
And she,
Legally
instead of
golden.
the dog, she could steal her dad's cat and bring it.
You thought about this a little too much.
Who needs a cat when she can just put
I'm
a
just
collar
going
on
with
Tata
it.
Bonri?
Tata Bonri
Wait,
is a dog, is a puppy anyway.
Hold on. Shut the fuck up. Hang on. Wait, this works better.
Mm-mm.
Elle Woods went to law school to follow a man that didn't love her.
Oh my god!
Oh no. Wait a
Oh
minute,
my
wait a minute, wait a
God.
minute.
And then,
When was Legally Blonde? When did that come out?
2000.
That was like mid 2000s.
And then
Yeah, it was
we
mid-
could turn it into a musical.
Fuck yeah, let's do it!
I love that musical. I saw it on Father's Day.
Bend and
That's
snap,
a weird
bitches.
thing to see on Father's Day.
My dad really loves Broadway.
I know
Anyways,
your dad was
Anyway.
Broadway, but Legally Blonde the musical? Okay.
fans, Dub Talk fam, Legally Blonde, Golden Time, alternate universe fan fiction. Give it to me.
That is a Tokaza review in the making.
Andrew's done.
Oh my god.
Shit.
All right,
Gigi, I
There's
bitch.
nothing-
fucking love you.
All right,
You would reel
bitches.
this back in.
I'm reeling it. I'm
I
reeling
want to
it
talk
back
about my
in.
best boy. I want to talk about my best boy.
Tootie?
Yes!
He is great.
Tootie's the best. He's the actual best.
Tootie as a character in any other show,
Oh god.
by sheer premise, should be the worst.
Mhm.
Literally,
Yes.
the premise is, God, I hate reality. 3D girls are 3D pig disgusting. They're terrible. I hate them.
I'm all about the 2D
I'm
girls,
all about
yeah.
the 2D anime waifu girls.
No, yeah, in any other situation,
In
it
any
would not
other
work.
show, this would be the biggest piece of shit fucking loser
Yep.
character. I'd hate him. He's the nicest, empathetic,
He's
sweetest
the
bro.
sweetest boy.
He is a bro.
He
And I
is.
also love Garrett West's portrayal of him.
Oh, Gareth is so
Who is
fun.
just this general, like, he's kind of this goofy guy who's a little high-strung and over-dramatic and goofy. He just loves
You
his
know what-
friends.
Yeah.
He's not just about the bros, he loves his chick
He
friends,
doesn't
too.
give a shit about being the third wheel. He will be the third wheel all fucking day,
He's
every
the
day.
wheelman for all of these
Yes.
stupid
So
disaster
let's run down his
bitches.
characteristics. So he's introduced as kind of a side character. You thought he was going to be a one-off character,
Yes.
but then he becomes a recurring character. He's got glasses, he's got a bit of a high-pitched voice, he's really good at computers, and he is a total bro. He is the Urkel of this show.
What?
I'll
Wow,
take
that's
it.
a
I'm going to
stretch.
take that and go
Man.
with
I
it.
don't see it.
I'll take
Noah,
it.
Monkey D. Luffy wouldn't even stretch that far.
But that's why he
But
hasn't
you know
found the
what?
One
Even
Piece
Urkel
yet.
got the girl in the end, y'all. Whatever. I think Gareth also does what he can and makes the dialogue easier to listen to. I think
Yes.
it also has something to do with the fact that Tootie is so high strung, so he's able to fucking go
Oh,
off the wall with him.
100%.
And I think that anytime anyone has dialogue that makes them go off the wall, that makes them go a little over dramatic, that makes them do anything where it's not just, hi, I'm talking to you guys right now, what's up, but oh my god, hi, I'm talking to you guys, what's up, what's going on, don't you love this is awesome. Like, I think anytime there's dialogue like that, it sounds so much more natural.
Yeah.
Like, and Gareth pulls it off really greatly, especially
Yeah.
at the very end.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. He's
Like, the-
such a sweetheart.
I was feeling for him because he
Oh my
genuinely is like,
God.
I don't want to lose my friends. Like, he's, like, literally doing, like, we
He's
had
the
this agreement.
sweetest.
Anytime one of us wants to hang out, we drop everything and hang out. And then you just see him.
the sweetest.
You see him literally breaking down and about to tear up. And, like,
I was starting to feel for him, too. I'm like, oh, sweet baby.
Like-
Here's the thing. This show has lots of moments that have so much high energy for him, mostly for comedic effect.
Yes.
and when he starts being sad.
Gareth has to be, I think, one of the more consistent forces with that high energy. He's like, compared to everybody else in the main cast, 2D has to more consistently show this huge amounts of energy. He's this spitfire ball of energy that could, like, you give him coffee, he's gonna go bouncing off the walls in like 20 seconds. Like, and I think Gareth does very, very well giving that high energy, and especially at that consistency. And it helps balance out the rest of the... He's the one character who doesn't have the biggest issues.
No, he didn't.
His main issue is, I just want friends.
In any other show, like, the character who says, like, I swear off all 3D girls, 2D's where it's at, like, you would think, oh, they're like a incel loser piece of shit, or they're just some sort of jackass who makes creepy jokes.
2D is the sweetest bean.
2D's smart. He got... Have you seen
He would be the
relationships
lawyer,
and the
guys.
romance drama in the show? He got lucky. He's the best off. Because he's not involved.
He doesn't have a relationship, and he's better fucking for it.
Well, you know what? I also think that, like, with Gareth's performance, even, like, the part where he was falling asleep when he was going to drive the car, I was like, oh, man, I've been there. I was like, even felt a lot of energy, like, not in a bad way, but in, like, a, oh, my God, I feel like you're going to pass out right now way.
It was convincing.
It was very convincing.
You could feel that it was a convincing performance. Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah,
it
Garrett,
was acted really well.
And it sounded like he was having fun too.
Oh, yeah.
Like there's a level of not having fun. I'm not gonna say not having fun, but like it sounded like it was fun to listen to him because he sounded like he was having fun.
Yeah. I keep loving Gareth West as an actor more and more.
I have to agree with these guys. Gareth West was. I mean, he was definitely given some of the more fun material, and this is like indicative of what I wish the show was more like more of this believable, fun reactions to things, and
that actually sums it up right there on in general. If it had something similar to what 2D's character was, I think it would have been done a lot better.
We know guys like 2D, or we are 2D.
It's true. Very true.
Like, I feel like the thing I like about the show is the entire college friend group. I genuinely believe they are friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I genuinely believe they
would
friends.
get an apartment in New York City and spend time at the coffee shop.
Fuck yeah,
they do
would.
spend time in a coffee shop.
By the way,
of them in this
finally,
anime. Even
One of
Oka
them
works
works
at
figured
at
out
a
what
cafe.
if you
Oh, yeah,
if you
we
wondered
should
where
talk
the
about
name of the show comes from, it's the Golden Time is the name of the bar where they hang out. That
it is.
I didn't have any other place to fit that in here because I wondered like what does golden time mean, and I looked it up, and sometimes golden time refers to like the hour after you've been in an accident where paramedics can like do the most to help you, but that doesn't seem to have.
Oh, dude, that's exactly what fucking golden time is about now. Fuck the cafe.
There you go. There. It's just.
Oh my god.
You're
It's
right,
Scrubs.
actually.
It's just Scrubs for anime fans.
Scrubs for anime fans.
What?
Fuck.
Where the? Wow.
Well, I had a better segue when we were talking about the cafe,
Sorry.
but I'm gonna let y'all talk about Oka, and then I'm just gonna jump in when I feel it's necessary.
Oh no.
Oh god, you really want me to talk about Oka?
I'll start with
Okay.
Oka.
Okay. Oh
Okay.
no.
Oka is a precious bean. She's a very good girl.
Yeah.
I feel for her. I love her. Caitlin French. Let's talk about Caitlin
Yep.
French.
Yeah. Let's talk about her.
She's not perfect. I think she does improve. She gets the dramatic moments. She has some good comedic moments, and she has some great chemistry. Especially, I adore her character, and I even really enjoy her bouncing off of Coco.
Yes.
I will say my actual favorite friendship in the show is Coco and Oka. Because Coco is Coco is not a tsundere
She's
for
a
her
disaster.
boys.
She's a disaster.
She's not a tsundere for her boys. She's a tsundere for Oka. That's why I love
You're
that
wrong.
relationship. Because
If you ship them, they're named Coca.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Hot
fuck.
chocolate. Let's have some coca.
I'll have me some coca. Anyways, what the fuck was I talking about? Oh yeah, I really like Oka and Coco's relationship. I love the entire episode where she just barges into an apartment. It's like, okay, we're doing a covert op. Which of these things makes my tits look bigger? What?
I'm
I
not
want a
surprised
sweet
that
boy.
that's
I
the
want him to
scene that
love
you
me.
remember.
I've done that before.
Dude, I don't even say that as like a
Really?
pervy thing. It's legitimately
It kind of sums up their relationship really well, honestly.
is that they are big. They are at each other's throats, but they love each
Yeah,
other
that's-
too.
Yeah, it's actually
It's
a good summary of
adorable.
it.
Is that you can tell that like Oka is actually on equal footing to bust her balls.
Mhm.
It's great. Like she's basically like, okay, so you're looking for the oh god, yes, let's do it like horny animals and mate right now
Yeah.
in front of everybody. That's the kind of vibe you're going for, right?
She
What?
did.
No, really.
She
The
got
way
some of the
you're
better
doing
lines, like that whole episode, that episode 14 where they were just bouncing off each other. That got some of the more
Yeah.
in tone lines. Like I felt like that was the kind of writing that the
Yes.
kind of interactions
They're
the show
also
should have had more of.
Oh yeah,
that.
100%.
They're also being very real with each other, and I feel that realness with each other is what
Mhm.
makes them respect and honestly kind of like love each other a lot more.
Oh,
and I
yeah.
really like that. I really like their dynamic. It's what I believe is like bitchy girls that really connect with each other.
And,
Caitlin
yeah, go ahead.
French.
Mhm.
That being said,
She's rough at the start. She's rough at the start.
Oh, yeah.
I think it gets better, and it is kind of a cute, ditzy, airheaded thing that
Mhm.
does work for the character. I think there's just definitely a number of rough or stilted deliveries that kind of takes you out a little bit. I think she absolutely does deliver for when the dramatic moments and the chips are down,
Mhm.
especially in the last half of the show. I definitely think she does come.
Okay.
I think she does stand out and she does improve, but she is definitely one of the rougher overall performances of the
Yeah.
show. I'm not denying that, but I will defend it, and I think she does have some great moments and some great comedic and dramatic moments she gets to share off with,
Oh.
and I love her relationship with Coco specifically.
I honestly will agree with those sentiments. Like, to me, unfortunately, this is the rougher of the performances, and it does take a little bit of time to really kind of get into it. Part of it, I just might not be too used to Caitlin French as an actress, which is a damn shame. But, like, Oka as a character is an interesting being to begin with. Because she's this little middle school looking girl in college.
which they
And
those
I
exist.
think-
I've met them.
They-
One of my
they
best friends.
exist.
One of
I'm
my
not
best
saying they
friends
don't.
is just
And I
so small. She's still very small. Sorry, Candy.
But I think there's a scene early on in the show that kind of sums this up, where Coco first meets Oka, and she is straight up being a bitch to her. And one of the first things she says to her is like, "Where are you actually pulling that voice from?"
Hypersonic.
That's true.
Ultrasonic. But like, so I understand the direction and the casting choice for this situation. I get it. I think to me, Caitlin was the one who took the longest to kind of transition and really get into the role. Because I think of the tone of voice that was being used. That is not to say that it's like the worst thing in the world. It's like all the performances are like that. It takes a little bit to get acclimated to them. And like Andrew was saying, I love the freaking relationship and friendship between Oka and Coco.
It's
And-
because
and-
Coco starts out hating her, and
It's
Oka's
exactly
like,
it.
and Oka's just like,
She's just kind of letting it. She's just like taking it in stride.
You're
It's like,
funny.
you know what? You're funny.
She-
I like
yeah,
you.
she's-
We're gonna be friends. And Coco's like, fuck
Yeah,
that.
Coco was absolutely not intimidated by Coco. It's like she can see. It's like she can
No.
see Coco's insecurities written all over her face, and she's like, "This doesn't
Oh, yeah.
bug me. In fact, I'm going to have some fun playing with this crazy girl."
No, yeah, it's great.
if I may steal another thing I got from my buddy and one,
Okay.
Oka and Coco
Mm-hmm.
are like Ami and Taiga if their body proportions were swapped.
I haven't seen Toradora, so I don't know the context. But
If you've seen Toradora, you might be able to see it a little.
But anyway, like
Same author.
anyway, I will agree with Andrew that it takes time to adjust. But even during that adjustment period, I think for me, Caitlin took the longest for me to really kind of get into it. But that's not to say she didn't have fun moments. And like Andrew said, like in the last third of the show, where Oka suddenly really gets a bit more like meat to the character with her like relationships and how she feels about people like Mitsuo. Like I felt it a lot more, and I could feel it coming from her. It's just that I think the whole getting acclimated to the character and some of the writing, I think too, may not have done any favors.
Yeah, the writing,
but
because the character herself does have conflict, has issues near the beginning of it, because you get the sense that she's had to get used to her smaller stature, that that's an insecurity that she's already gotten over. So when new people meet her and make a comment about her voice and her look and everything, it doesn't bug her so much. She like you said, takes it in stride. But it's not that she doesn't still have to deal with that on a day-to-day basis, which is which is good. It shows she's more mature than a lot of the other characters from the get-go, which
100% she is among the most mature of the entire group because she knows who she is.
Why it's so frustrating that I don't think Caitlin does get better. I'm sorry, it's not anything about the writing exactly. It's entirely to do with the fact that she doesn't fluctuate. So if you've got a high-pitched voice character, not even just a moe type voice, but almost any character who's supposed to sound younger and therefore has a higher voice, you've got to modulate, and your emotions have to change a little bit, and that's just natural. Like, if you speak like this all of the time, then it's not really going to get across emotions very well.
No, yeah, that's what I kind of meant when, like, I'm glad you're going into a bit more detail of it. That's what I kind of meant when I think, while everybody is getting more acclimated to the roles, I think it took Caitlin the longest.
She's the one that I could feel in the booth the most. She's the one where I could visualize person in front of a microphone with headphones on, reading lines off of a script, and that is not a good quality to have. I think the part where I was like, this is going to take a lot to get used to, was the scene where they go to the amusement park, and Coco is like shoving a bag of noodles into her face, and they're having their little spat there.
Yes.
And that scene. Okay.
Yep.
Actually, really.
I like the scene. Like, I like that there's clashing personalities, and I do really like that their relationship, Coco and her relationship, is like not really something I've really seen before. It's a very unique friendship, but the problem is that Chinami's performance is like someone who's like trying to hold back emotions. It's like trying to hold back her own feelings that this one person doesn't like her. And I can understand that, like I don't like the fact that there are people out there who don't like me. And, I'm like that one scene from The Office where you say, I don't like the fact that there are people out there who don't like me. Even the Taliban, I bet they'd like me if they got to know me. There's a weak link in this dub, and I definitely think it was Caitlin's performance as Chinami, because Chinami is a very different kind of character. I don't really like character design wise. I can think of characters she looks like, but personality wise, I can't quite think of one off the top of my head that I could like point to and say, okay, Caitlin, be like that, but read this dialogue. Like, I can't think of one off the top of my head. So, but
okay.
I agree with everybody. I just didn't want to say it first. I do think
I think the problem is that everybody has the same sentiment. It's like, we don't want to be mean, but we also want to be critical.
Well, I think the problem that I had with most of it is that Caitlin's hiding her acting behind the tone of voice.
That actually makes 100% more sense.
Like, I felt like it was focusing more on keeping the high-pitched tone consistent.
Yeah, okay.
Than letting
The character?
And then you kind of lose it, yeah.
then letting
So-
the emotions run through your voice, because it's really hard to talk like this.
I mean, I'll have to.
and be really emotional.
I don't think I've heard Caitlin in anything else, so I don't know what her non high pitched voices
I
sounds like.
don't usually hear her in much.
in
But that's just me.
She's been
in
in
Say
Yeah.
I Love
Just
You,
nothing
her
too
voice
soon.
was very quiet and breathy.
Okay.
But the
was she
character
May?
was very shy, quiet, breathy,
Is
doesn't
Caitlin
talk a
May?
lot. What? Yeah, she's
Is
May.
Caitlin May?
Yeah. She's
Okay.
May.
All right. Yeah. I could. Okay. No. Yeah. I think that might be part of the issue is because she has to retain that tone of voice.
She plays
It kind of
Shiro
loses it.
in No Game No Life, who's like little girl.
Small, weird, quiet girl, but I really liked her in No Game.
And honestly, I think she loses
Yeah.
she loses the high pitched voice the further into the show you go. So you may have a point there, Gigi.
She does. I think
And I think specifically when she actually has to go into those more dramatic moments. Now that I think about
The
it,
haircut,
where she actually has to.
yeah, when
act.
she loses her hair.
yes,
That's when it comes. That's where I think it's the strongest, where she's actually able to drop the tone of voice a tiny bit and actually like emote, and that's why I think I believe her a lot more at that point.
Like I really like what she kind of like breaking down in Bonnery's apartment.
Yes.
Where it's like, oh yeah,
I loved it.
That's
Yep.
her being real.
so it's basically when she's alone with Coco, like midway through the show when they're trying on bathing suits, where I think it's pretty good because she gets to drop some of the high pitched voice and just start talking
Yes.
shit about Coco.
Oh, thank God we didn't
And
wear
then-
that thong out in public. That could have been a major disaster.
God, I don't.
Oh, I love how she's basically just kind of manipulating her very
so great.
subtly. It's like,
I
God,
love
if,
it.
See,
if
I
you
I
show
think
that-
that works, and I think after she cuts her hair is when
Yes.
it gets a turn for the better. But it's still it's hard to act behind that tonal change,
Mm.
Yep.
and it's disappointing because it's hard to act behind that kind of a voice, unless
Yeah,
that
so
is her real
she
voice.
Has a challenge.
Right. And again,
But-
she's
We
kind
can't
of.
speak to we obviously can't speak to that's her real voice, and I highly doubt that is her real voice.
And again, this is the one where I kind of point to and say, like, I don't remember how the sub sounded for Chinami, but this is one where I'd say it's worth it to switch over to the sub to listen to because the dub is not doing the character as many favors as she should be. Although I'll give her major credits for when she shoots down Mitsuo the first time he proposes. That did lead, that was a good delivery. I'll give her props for that.
That was fun. No, yeah, but I think the way Gigi describes it, I think, yeah, it sums up honestly. Like, Oka has good moments. Caitlin does have good moments. The problem is she has to keep the high pitched tone of voice very consistently, and trying to emote through that can be a challenge.
Well,
It's hard, fam. It's a hard knock life. You know who else has hard knock lives?
For us.
Annie.
Linda's had
For
a pretty
us.
hard knock life.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Linda.
Mitsuo, I mean, Coco's knocked him on the head enough to have a hard knock life.
She beats the shit out of him with Roses episode 1, so.
I mean, gotta do what you gotta do. Let's talk about these good characters. Our good buddy Mitsuo, who is, well, Coco loves him. He doesn't love Coco.
I wrote down Mitsuo in parentheses. Coco's squeeze.
That's about right. It's about right.
That's about right.
Mitsuo has a lot of identity crises during this anime. He's
Oh my gosh. He's also like early on I made the comment to Andrew of like Coco's such a disaster bitch, and then partway through I think when they first have like when Mitsuo and Coco have their first like actual argument after things are settled between their relationship.
It's when they're in
I'm
golden
like-
time. It's when they're in golden time. They're checking out the film club.
Yes.
I think she is already dating Bonnery at the time.
Yes.
And they're basically just antagonizing the shit out of each other.
I just look at Andrew, I'm like, oh my god, Andrew, they are both disaster bitches.
They're also
basically
terrible for each
They're
other.
also horrible for each other.
two alphas don't make a good example. But he's
No.
played by
Gigi,
Adam Gibbs.
are you saying that they're both
Yeah.
tops?
Yay!
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Alright.
And then we have Linda, who, unbeknownst to everyone, is Tada Bonri's best friend from basically ever. and he unfortunately forgets all about her when he goes to college, but he was in love with her, and she, as the last twist in the episode, the last twist in the anime suggests, was also in love with him and hiding it poorly this entire time. So
I argue with that. Me and Jen had an argument about whether she actually had feelings for him or not.
Well,
Anyways.
we'll get to that.
No, yeah, she does.
Anyways.
She's played by Melissa Milano. Linda is played by Melissa Milano. She has been Mamiko in Monthly Girls Nozaki-kun, Yukino in My Teen Romantic Comedy Snafu, and Kitanaga in How Clumsy You Are, Miss Ueno. I mistakenly thought that this was the older sister and domestic girlfriend. It's not her. See, I do this a lot. Okay. I really thought it was her.
Hold on.
All right. And then Adam Gibbs.
Okay, so I have heard Melissa before because I'm like, Mamiko? I'm like, oh, wait, that's the manga character, isn't it?
All right, what were you saying?
Adam Gibbs, we all know and love. Adam Gibbs is Steph's vanilla boy Ruki from Diabolic Lovers More Blood. He's also
he is.
my boy Ryoma from Love Stage, and he's also Get Out in the Hallway boy Anzai from Devil's Line. Let's bring back that joke.
Yeah, this is a Gigi episode.
You can get that show for like $12 now.
If shoujo trash is involved and Gigi's attached to it, we gotta bring up more shoujo trash because we fucking can. All right.
Look, it's clearly obvious that I watch different shit than everybody else. So this is what I do.
Accurate.
I gotta say, the biggest twist, more so than everything going along with Linda, which, by the way, being Linda is suffering.
Being Linda is very suffering.
He's not wrong.
She's a sweetheart. She's doing her best. She really...
I love Linda.
Oh, she actually gets a really raw deal, bless her heart. The biggest twist than everything going along with Linda is that Mitsuo actually spent most of the show as a blonde. I thought that was going to be a one-off thing.
my God.
He went the entire rest of the show blonde. I did not think that was actually going to be a fucking permanent change.
So would you say that
really
he was
didn't.
legally blonde?
Oh, wow.
Cancel
that
Noah.
was
Cancel
good.
Noah. Cancel.
No,
Yup.
I like
Oh,
it.
We gotta
okay.
cancel
I liked
Noah
it.
again.
Nope, I liked it.
Okay, what's Jenny's number?
8675309. Everybody knows that, Andrew. Gigi, I'm so glad we were on the same page.
Fucking
Thank
reference, you fucking piece of shit.
He went to his phone and he almost was about to start dialing
well, we didn't-
that.
No, I realized where he went with that. That was a fucking My Life as a Teenage Robot reference.
No, it wasn't. That's the name of the fucking song by Tommy Two-Tone, you
That's
asshole.
a one-hit wonderland from the one-hit wonder song from the 80s. How?
Oh, I thought
How
you were,
young
I
are
thought
you?
you were doing the Teenage Robot thing.
Wow.
Hashtag
wrong with
Andrew
you?
is over party forever.
We're back to Andrew's over now.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck off. Okay. I'm gonna go pee. You guys talk.
God damn it.
Good. We'll let him go pee and we'll talk shit. So,
All right, that's fine. Well, let's start talking shit.
all
Here
right.
we go.
So Mitsuo, who's my best boy.
We are going. Sorry.
Mitsuo, who's my best boy in this anime. Is anyone surprised?
No.
Mitsuo is the best. You know, I'm up and down with Adam Gibbs acting wise. Like sometimes I think he sounds like really one note. And in this fucking anime, I thought he was so damn good. I was like, what? I was like,
it's
oh,
the
this shit, that's
energy.
Adam Gibbs. Like the first
It's
word
the
out of
high
his mouth.
energy in this show.
You know, but Mitsuo is such a fucking rough character. I'm cursing a lot and losing my voice at the same time. So whatever.
Yeah.
It's fine.
He's really like he is a disaster. Like he doesn't know what the fuck he wants. When he does think he knows what he wants, like it's not happening for him. Like nothing's really going his way. He's getting fucking stalked. Like how can you not go a little out of your mind? And
this is the progression of Mitsuo's character. He goes to a brand new school to get away from this crazy stalker girl who thinks that they're
well, it wasn't
meant to
just
be.
that. It wasn't.
Then,
it was.
And then, no. Hold on. There's more to it. I'm going through the progression of events in the course of the show. And then he has a crush on this other girl. And then by sheer antagonistic push by the crazy stalker girl, he's like, hey, go out with me, and he gets fucking denied. And then he's all depressed and shit, dyes his hair blonde to get over it for some fucking reason.
Starts an OnlyFans.
He pretty much does. Takes a job essentially as like a goddamn like,
Chippendale dancer.
He's not. Yes, I was about to say stripper, but that's
he doesn't go that
not
far.
The correct thing I'm looking for. Chippendales, and then fucking he develops a crush on goddamn Linda.
We ran out of girls in the cast.
Oh god, he's a disaster.
Well, the thing is that he doesn't just go to the new school to get away from Coco. He's also trying to break from the rut of being in the same kind of prestigious school that that his parents have had him in since he was a young kid. He's like, I've gone to the rich elementary school, rich middle school, rich high school, and I could have kept going to the rich college.
But he also said that before he mentioned
Yeah, but that's a key part of his character.
I think
we all know the real reason why he left is to get as far away from Coco as possible.
No, but I think that's valid reasoning because Mitsuo changes so much throughout the course of this. He's having the true fucking college experience, honestly, more than anyone
really
else.
Right, and that's why.
Honestly, yes, he is. He's having the realest college experience that anyone could fucking ask for.
And that's what.
He's even getting quote-unquote hit on by his guy best friend. I say quote-unquote because Bonri's trying to save his ass from this girl trying to hit on him.
Okay, that was like...
That was the best.
My little pocket-sized
Okay, I have
boyfriend.
thoughts on Bonri, but Bonri's a good boy who can think on his feet.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the fact that his first thought was, how do I get this girl to stop hitting on my buddy? He's uncomfortable. Okay. Dick-sucking mode out of it. Hey, boo.
I was a shepherd, and I was a nun.
See, that was good. See, that was like the epitome of like good parts of the dub.
It was good. It was good.
No, yeah, that
And
was
again,
great.
that's how I relate it to the Domestic Girlfriend show, because there were like little bits in Domestic Girlfriend where the characters are like acting out these weird scenarios in their head, and they get over the top in the acting. And man, we needed more of that in this whole show. But of course, that would have cut into the melodramatic jumping off the bridge time.
He's a good boy. Oil and water with Coco. Like, but here's the thing. I know Coco was obsessed and latched dearly. My god, it is a good thing those two did not work out. That would not have worked.
So the thing I love about Adam's performance is that Mitsuo has to be a little mean near the beginning of the show, because he is finally telling Coco off, saying, this isn't going to work out. I just want to be friends. You need to stop being a stalker. And you don't hate him for that. Mm-hmm. You don't hate how honest he is towards her, because you get it. You get where he's coming from. And I like that Adam doesn't give him like a really mean, gruff voice to go with it to show how upset he is. He has a very believable, we were never together, it's not gonna work out, you need to move on.
He's frustrated, and
and that's why I give Adam props in this, and also why I think that him breaking away from his rich upbringing to where he is now is so important to his character, because he's finally becoming his own individual and not just going with what he's been taught and told to do all of his life. So yeah, Adam got this character, I felt.
Right. No, I agree. I do think that, and here's my backwards opinion probably, I think Adam started out the strongest of anyone. I think as it went through, it kind of like, and this is also to Mitsuo's character, because Mitsuo kind of like backs off towards the later part of the anime. Mm-hmm. I think as it gets later on, like it starts super high, like it starts at like a 10, and then it slowly slopes downward.
Well, they didn't really have much for him to do after a certain point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad.
I think that he peaked early.
He did. You're right.
I'm not saying that it's worse, but I'm saying is that it kind of, while Adam Gibbs starts out super high at the beginning, as the anime progresses, it kind of like goes into this middle area where I feel that a lot of the other actors started. But that doesn't have as much to do with his performance as it does have to do with the character. However,
Right, because he doesn't
that's-
have anything else.
okay.
He has no driving conflict aside from he's trying to get to with Linda near from the
Right.
middle to the end of the show.
and that scene was really good.
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like petered out into nothing.
Are you talking about
I
like the scenes where
disagree
he's trying to
because-
film the? Are you talking about the scenes where he's trying to film the festival club and we kind of see him grappling with not being able to make progress with Linda?
Yes.
Yeah, I can see that too. Like it definitely mellowed out, but it did in the show too. Like
Yes.
if you tried to keep that same like you were saying 10 out of 10 level of acting in those scenes, it wouldn't have fit.
I would think, in terms of consistency with their character, right? Adam is the strongest. He retains the consistency of his performance going with the character progression, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You know how we're
Sure.
saying, like, the beginning, it's very difficult in the beginning for a good portion of the performances, and Adam is like day one, like, up there. He's, like, perfectly acclimated and is perfectly fine. He still remains consistent in terms of performance throughout the show,
Mm-hmm.
but again, we're also taking into account that the character is mellowing out and chilling out a bit more. So I think what Gigi's saying is that the entire performance is not bad. It's just part of it is he starts really high, but that's because where the character is. But it does kind of slowly kind of peter out as the show goes on. Does that sound accurate?
Okay.
You see how that makes sense?
I'll leave it at that. I'm just gonna
It
say the penultimate episode, he genuinely made me cry.
Yes, he did.
Oh.
He was tearing up.
his
I was losing it, but he was tearing
his
up.
his genuine like friendship. Here's what I think. I don't always have an issue with the just talk already stereotype that comes with like the dramatic drama shows.
Melodrama, yeah.
I think this show had a couple of times where it was like, okay, seriously, what is the actual issue? Just fucking talk already. Though I acknowledge in hindsight some of that issue is it's kind of hard to open it up to your immature college friends that you basically have a social like dissociation disorder and you are losing your mind. That's a hard thing to open up about, but I feel there was a couple of times where it's like, okay, seriously, just tell Mitsuo. Tell Mitsuo. Mitsuo's a good boy. He should fucking know this stuff. Why aren't you telling Mitsuo? Let Mitsuo know!
But again, it comes back to what Bonnery's going through.
I recognize that.
So,
But it's also...
even though we're yelling at the screen for him to tell Mitsuo and everybody else,
It's like Jesus fucking Christ.
it's mentally for Bonnery, it's a huge thing entirely for him.
Anyways, Mitsuo's a very good boy, a disaster heterosexual piece of shit.
We
I'm
love
glad
Mitsuo.
I'm glad he's not with Coco.
In this
I
house,
love-
we
He's not a
stand.
piece
I
of
love
shit.
I love Adam Gibbs. I think it's a fantastic
know why-
performance. He gets everything that Mitsuo needs to be, and he does it
In this
perfectly.
house, we stand Mitsuo.
So when do we
Well-
talk about Linda?
Well, in this
Well,
house, we
hold on.
stand Linda, who did nothing
This
wrong.
is true. We also stand in this house. We stand Linda 2D Mitsuo. Maybe
All right, you
probably
standing
add Bonnery
bitches.
in there.
Okay, so let's talk about Melissa.
Okay.
Let's talk about Melissa.
Okay.
I'm going to let you guys talk.
All right.
Oh, okay.
So when Gigi, you were saying before that you thought that Kira Vincent Davis's Nana was the most natural sounding of the cast.
I did say that.
So I wrote down that I thought Melissa was actually the most casual sounding, because and this is definitely because she's contrasted with Coco and Chinami. And then we meet Linda as the third girl in the show, which I thought was leading up to like, okay, there's going to be like a 3-way tie for which girl he's going to get with. And that becomes a 2-way tie. But Melissa is really natural sounding, slightly muffled, but the kind where I could not see her in the booth. Like in direct contrast to Caitlin, Melissa is just like, it feels like she's just talking. She's just being herself, the casual, jeans wearing friend that you had in college who you could sip cappuccinos with while talking about how much that philosophy test sucked. And that is good. I like that about her, which is why I also stand under the umbrella that stands Linda.
So let me ask you this, because I'm going to bring up a counterpoint to that. I agree that
Okay.
she sounded very casual most of the time. During the melodramatic scenes, did you feel like she was acting enough?
That is
I
where
think she nailed it.
unfortunately
Bitch
faltered.
made me cry. So
Hold
yes.
hold on.
Sorry.
Well, here's the problem is that when she's ecstatic, when she's she's breaking down, in the earlier episodes, she's still at that 5 out of 10 energy. So I didn't quite feel it, especially when we have the flashback scene where she meets Tadabanri right after he's kind of broken out of the hospital. She's got a flashlight and she says, I was trying to send a message to a friend who I can never see again. That part,
Which,
I didn't quite
God,
get the
that scene
emotional
hurts.
part. It hurt, it did, but it wasn't up to the emotional level I think it should have been. But to answer your question, Gigi, the second to last episode, though, yes, she revved up full even rude style motor into what it needed to be on the emotional level. That part I got, she was not casual there. She was ugly crying, which is exactly what the scene called for.
Okay, so that's where I agree, because I don't think that in the high octane emotional parts until the very end, I didn't get it.
I don't agree.
I honestly see both sides. Again,
You can't do that. You
here's-
fence sitter. You are not allowed to do that.
Shh, no, shut up. So it goes back to the first few episodes, the first handful of episodes are very rough in terms of the dub in general. That scene specific to that flashback with Tadabanri breaking out of the hospital is among those episodes. And yes, I can see a bit of the issues there. However, I can see throughout the course of the show, Melissa got into it a lot better, a lot more, to the point where I will go with Noah on this and say by the end of it, she was one of the more natural sounding to me. Second to Kara in this case, at least to me.
Okay.
And, there are occasional moments throughout the course of the show, once we get through that early rough patch, where it still has those moments where it seems a little bit janky.
Janky seems like a fair way to
A
describe
little
it.
janky on those occasions. But, I just said this a second ago. Bitch made me cry by the end of it. Because I 100% felt that she was frustrated, that she was just so emotional, and it just overtook her. It's like, why are you saying all of this? Why are you blaming yourself? Why aren't you going after her? Why are you saying it's over? And I can feel that frustration and that emotion from her, that it just really hit.
And there's that part. There's a part of Linda's personas that she's lost a friend and she's kind of had to suppress the memories that the good memories.
That's exactly one part of the character that you have to remember.
Yeah, so I feel like the casual nature of it, her thought of I've consigned
it's a little
myself
forced.
is not. I wouldn't say it's
No.
forced. I'd say it's she's consigned herself.
She is forcing herself to kind of be okay with it.
There it is.
That's
That
what I
is
should have
true.
Clarified. She
That's
is forcing
what-
herself to have a brave face and
Yes.
basically just not break down and fucking cry.
In contrast to Coco, Coco says exactly what's on her mind at all times and is detrimental to her relationships. But Linda knows that if you let emotions eat you alive, you can't function. So she like you said, she buries that down, puts on a brave face, but still functions. It's like you were saying, Andrew. She is the only one in the cast who I can see actually making it through law school.
I'll also say this. If you want to know when I think I personally clicked with Melissa's performance, I'd say it's the flashback when they're spying on her brother's fiance's cheating.
Oh boy.
I think
I didn't know
that's
where
the
that episode. I don't know where that episode was going.
I thought that was an odd episode, but I think
Yeah.
overall that's the moment where I realized Melissa's dramatic chops were really sinking in and really starting to grow, and I feel it only escalated further as the show went on, especially like when he realizes they had a relationship and that's kind of eating her away, like when she's basically just bursting out into tears while he locks himself in a bathroom, and every subsequent thing. By the way, can I just fucking say, I think the most I've been mad at Tadabanri throughout this entire show is when he goes to her and basically is like, forget you ever had a relationship with me. That's the moment I was genuinely angry with that character.
He got so upset.
Here's my thing. When you guys were talking about how Linda has to force herself to not have any emotions, to like force her emotions down.
Mhm.
I feel that because this is voice acting, we can't see it in the actor's face because we can't see the actor. All we can see is, you know, an animated character. I didn't feel that she was forcing any emotions. I just felt that it was all very casual, and like I didn't get it. I got it a little bit in the episode where she was spying on her brother's fiance, a little bit. I got it a little bit towards the end, but there
Especially,
were
like in like this 22, I think, when she's really freaking out with him. I'm like, yeah, that was...
like I don't know,
Well, at
like
that point, that's not her hiding it anymore, Andrew.
well, when I watched this the first time, I was really torn with whether or not I wanted Bonri to go with Coco or I wanted Bonri to go with Linda, because I was
Team Linda all the way.
well, I was like, but Linda has been through so much, like with this
Right.
boy and everything that's happening, and
Mhm.
why would he go with whatever? It took me to watching the dub to realize at the end that basically the other Bonri was going away, and
Yes.
it took me to realize that like Linda was sort of saying goodbye to the old Bonri then.
Mhm.
That's where I kind of felt the emotions from it. It was very subtle change, like in the performance there, but I just, up until the very end, you're always, and like Noah, you were saying before, is she actually in love with Bonri? I think she is.
Right.
I thought she was, you know, through the whole
I think-
thing.
Like, it's extremely. I feel like it's extremely subtle, but I can see it there.
I feel like she wants to. You know, she's got that.
No, I 100% believe that Linda did love Bonri.
Not in the way that he loves her. Like, I definitely believe that there's some emotions there. They're like maybe little embers of a spark there, but it's not the raging inferno that's going on inside of Bonri.
You're right.
It's not reciprocal.
You are right.
You're right. I think this has something to do with the English dub, because I felt it a lot more when I watched it in Japanese.
Gotcha. Okay.
No, that's true. That can be a bit of a change, but men are not owed a relationship, obviously. We're not going to use the dreaded word friend zone in all of this. And I liked the idea that you could have a show depict two people who can remain just friends, even if the other one feels stronger towards the other one. Like, I thought that's a healthy thing to teach people, because a lot of people don't know that.
Which I'll agree. Like, once he kind of accepted the past and like started to actually ask and try to understand the past he doesn't remember, I actually felt him and Linda had a really like healthy like friend relationship.
Yep.
Like, I
Yes.
actually like really liked that. I was like, oh.
Well, that being said, we got to move on. I wanted a little more.
Yes.
Noah, you really liked it, and you thought everybody else thought casual was the way to go. We got to move on.
Yeah. Let's
I
move
have
to
one
on
quick
to
question I want to ask.
Oh no.
You think these two will make it work?
Whoa, Mitsuo and Linda?
Yeah.
No.
No.
They'll be good friends. They'll be good friends. They'll meet in
the-
10 years with their own respective spouses.
The implication at the end is there that they do like each other mutually now, but whether or not that's actually going to work, it's up for debate.
I think they'll
Linda
have a good,
will get
I think
jealous
they'll have
of
a good
Mitsuo's
year or two.
OnlyFans.
They'll have a good fling.
They'll have a good year
probably.
or two, and then they'll become very good acquaintances.
All right, we have Coco, who's
Bring it up.
basically me as an anime character. I will fucking own up to that bullshit.
Coda was a disaster.
You are not toxic codependents.
Not
Okay.
anymore.
Okay, let's actually introduce these characters.
She is.
I am.
We
If
keep
everyone would shut the
interrupting.
fuck up.
We keep interrupting. is the
Listen, I will put
problem.
this fucking bouquet of roses in your fucking faces.
Yes.
And
But
rip
did you
your,
remove the thorns?
and ri-
No,
and
she
rip
will
your
not
lips
rip
off.
out the thorns.
Ooh.
So Coco's a disaster, but we love her. She's very fashionista. She's super cute. She loves the Eiffel Tower and wants to lose her big V card in Paris,
Paris.
that we've so
she wants
nicely
Tada's
learned.
Eiffel Tower, if you know what I mean.
Wah,
Oh, yes.
wah.
Okay, that takes 3 to get that to work.
She's played by Christina Kelly. And then we have our good boy, Tada Bonri, or Bonri Tada, if you're a dirty American like me. He's our protagonist. He don't remember shit, so he's a hot fucking mess. He's played by Mike Himoto. What up? All right.
Yay!
All right, Christina
What have they
Cal.
done?
You may have heard her as Best Girl in Food Wars, Alice, as Iroha in Real Girl, or Loki, and Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon, who, side note, I also thought was somebody else. I thought she was the undercover slut from School Live. It's not her.
No,
No,
she's not
oh
the
god,
undercover-
that's
I know which undercover slut you mean. It's not her.
Ah,
It's Cynthia
no.
Martinez.
Thank
that's
you.
Cynthia Martinez.
Well, I don't remember things. Besides, both their
Just
names
like
start with a
Tada.
C. Anyway, Mike Himoto plays Best Boy Kaoru in Tada Never Falls in Love. Best Boy Ushio in Actors Songs Connection. And I've never seen Run with the Wind, but he'll probably be my best boy Akane Kashiwazaki in Run with the Wind anyway.
You're gonna. He, I don't think he'll be your best boy, but you're gonna fucking love him.
He
Okay.
is a prince.
He is a prince.
I'll stick
Yeah.
by that.
But by the way, Gigi, we can't be friends anymore because the best girl in Food Wars is not Alice. It is Megumi, and I will hear nothing to the contrary.
Megumi is nowhere near Best Girl. Best Girl
I'm gonna
is
be honest. I
Alice.
kind of see both camps. I see both camps.
Look, we already had this debate with B-Stars. When it comes to best girls, I'm right and Gigi's wrong.
We'll see about that.
That's not how this works. That is not
That-
how this works.
I feel like
do you kiss your wife with that mouth, sir?
All I said was I like the good pigtail girls, okay?
No.
And Alice is not
you
that.
said that she's right, she's wrong, and I'm right. You kiss your wife with that mouth, good sir. You
All
tell
right,
that to Jenny, and then she kicked your ass.
All right.
Okay.
So let's talk about Tadabanri and Coco because we gotta
Yeah.
we gotta
we
get
can't
through
talk
this.
about them separately. They need to be
Well,
talked about
we're gonna
together.
we're gonna talk about them
Nah.
however we want to. So
So let me get this out the gate. Is that
yes,
again, first 7 episodes, it's rough,
yes,
and I say that with love, but it
Yes.
is rough. Now, episode 3, when Tadabanri starts talking about his backstory, it gets better. Coco
Yes.
gets better. Everyone starts to get better. By episode 7, where they have, I think it's called, whatever episode is Masquerade, that's where
Number 7.
Yeah.
thank you. It was 7. I was right. That's where it turns. And I was like,
Mhm.
okay, this is how we're going to go from now on. I can ride this train to the end.
I can fuck with this.
So you have to remember, though, throughout this whole fucking anime, that Tadabanri has fucking amnesia and like dissociative identity disorder. So
Yep.
not
Which I'm glad you mentioned that.
yeah, not only is he Tadabanri, he's also old Tadabanri, and they are fighting for dominance in his brain.
yeah. While amnesia is supposedly the prominent diagnosis, it's not actually the case.
He
Yeah.
is quite literally dissociating and losing
Yes.
his memories.
Because of a traumatic experience he did because he fell off of a fucking bridge.
So
That was a lot of blood.
so this boy's literally losing his mind, like literally.
Yes.
So please.
Oh yeah,
please,
he is a Pixie song.
You have you have to
Damn it.
you have to take that into consideration when you're talking about this
Mhm.
performance, because there are a lot of different levels that Mike goes and where Tada has to go.
Yes.
And I
And
think
the other interesting thing I'll add to that, kind of jumping off you for a second, Tadabanri and Ghost Tadabanri sound different.
Yes.
I don't think they do. I was going to mention that I wish that Ghost Tada would sound different than regular Tada.
Yeah,
think they
I
do.
agree with Gigi. One thing that I'd compare it to is back when we talked about Yurlai in April, the main character had his regular voice, and then he also voiced this like demon cat that was like a personification of his alternative deep inner thoughts.
Mhm.
And that sounded different enough from each other that you could almost not tell if they were the same actor. But with Ghost Tada and Human Tada, they sound similar enough to each other that they didn't sound like there was an attempt to make them different.
Okay.
Personally, I will admit I lean more on Andrew's side of it. I think it's distinct enough they do sound very similar, but I think Ghost Tada has a bit more subtleties that I think works very
I
well.
think it's like a deeper, much more somber register.
Yeah.
I think it's okay.
it.
I think it's okay to say that you don't think it sounded distinct enough, but to say there was no attempt, I think is legitimately false.
But do you think that Ghost Tada had it different because Ghost Tada doesn't have lip flaps?
No, I don't think. I think they really.
Ghost Tada had lip flaps.
Not as much as regular Tada.
I mean, not as much, but that doesn't change.
He only
things.
he only had lip flaps when he's actually interacting with. He's like yelling at Flesh Tada. Why you moron? Why would you get with this girl? Why don't you get with Linda? I curse you! Reign for all eternity.
Reign for all eternity.
A pox on your house, pox on your cow.
Absolutely,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
how
The
that's how
plague.
amnesia works now.
I feel
Okay.
that Ghost Tada is a lot more bitter and a lot more angry and a lot more jaded.
Yes.
I also, but I
Yeah.
felt like this
He doesn't
sadness.
start that way, though.
No, I felt like this sadness from the performance of Ghost Tada that I didn't really
Yeah.
get from regular Tada. So I felt the sadness, but like in the vocal changes, I just thought that maybe there could have been like something a little different so that you could tell
So-
who's
so-
actually talking.
So what you're saying is the difference in emotion between the two Tadas is there, but the distinction of tone of voice is not.
Okay,
Yeah, and you
Okay.
I could see that.
That's fair.
Which,
you need
to
that.
be fair, yeah, and to be fair, Mike is not supposed to act really exuberant in most of his monologuing because he's kind of a little emo boy who lost his memories, and he was also
Not
kind
a
of
little emo boy.
no, not he's not face paint 9 Inch Nails emo, but even before he lost his memories, he was kind of a whiny little kid. Like, remember that scene where
he's a
the
little
the class
bitch.
gets the
He's
remember
a
this?
little bitch crybaby.
Gets
like
the
100%
t-shirts.
He is.
And he doesn't get his name on there. Now, would any normal high school student act the way he did when he found out, oh, there was a misprint and my name is missing?
I
no,
would.
No, okay, maybe, but it doesn't make.
God damn it.
Gigi, did they forget to put your name on the shirt?
You know, I don't even
Did-
think we got shirts.
Was your name
So-
missing from the yearbook?
No.
So like, if there was a way to describe old Tada Banri, he's a crybaby baby, but he's so insecure and he's very helpless.
He is. It's
He cannot
realistic. I'll
really
give him
fend
that.
for himself, and that's why this is partially where codependency is a fucking bitch. The other part of it is Coco.
Okay,
But like, he's so codependent on Linda. Old Tada Banri, it has a huge codependency problem when it comes to Linda.
I think oh god. Okay, so when do we talk about okay? Oh god, I want to talk about these character. I want to talk about these dub portrayals, but I also want to talk about the relationship too.
So okay,
I'll start with Mike first. I'll start with dub performances first. Okay,
I like Mike.
Mike, good.
I like Mike.
Mike's
Yeah.
good. He's really good. I know you said the first episode he's a little rough at start. I think
That's mostly true about pretty much all the major performances
That
in the
being
whole
said,
show anyway.
holy shit, does Mike get really good. He gets all the sides of Tada Banri. He gets the goofiness, he gets the kind of like fun-loving, like sort of like vanilla boy feel. He's got really tragic, like emotional baggage he's fighting with. He's dealing with genuine anger, lashing out, romantic pains. You have literal losing mind, like dissociating freakouts that are scary. You see him literally regress into his older self, and it's
Honestly, in terms of characters and their emotions and complexities, Tada Banri has the most complexity because of all of these
Oh, by
facets
far.
and
Oh, yeah.
emotions that he has to feel. He has to go like very high energy 1 second and then just like subtle, like quiet the next. He has to go angry in another scene. He has to go full on fucking gay for Mitsuo in one bit. Like,
Which is not that hard. I mean, if you've seen the
You
guy.
know.
you're correct.
Have you seen that Speedo?
I
But my point is, in terms of performance, Mike has to go through all of these levels. He not only has to distinguish like Ghost Tada with living Tada, like current Tada. But current Tada has like a shit ton of things to work through too. And I think because of that, like, even though it was a little rough in the beginning, like, Mike's performance I think is among one of my favorites because he has so many levels he has to work with, honestly. And they come out very well.
You
personally.
know, I think what he does really like the best. Well, he does the best for a lot of things, but there are 3 that I want to touch on. The first one is when he's fucking angry, when Tada Banri's fucking angry at Coco, when he's yelling at Coco in her bedroom after she crashes the car.
After the accident,
Yeah. I think he's really fucking good there. Just because, I mean, how do you do that? Your girlfriend is like crawling all over you and like hitting you and stuff like that. And how do you calm somebody? And it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, so
You just don't put up with her shit.
well,
and especially when Coco was fighting back, and Andrew mentioned this earlier, like, you're the last person to be telling me to, like, fucking deal when you can't even accept your own shit.
Which he then lashes out, being like, you're the one who told me to forget my past. And the reality is she recognizes she fucked up saying that. She was just really angry hearing he was still in love with somebody else.
right. And I think that when they're fighting, like, it's a lot of emotion that comes out of it. And
Oh
that
my
made me
God.
very happy.
Yeah.
There's a smaller moment that I really liked. It's when they're on the way to the beach and they're stuck in the parking lot and Banri grabs Coco out of the car and they go run around in the rain outside.
That
was
is
so
one of the
cute.
cutest, sweetest moments in the entire show, and it's such a genuine making the best out of a bad situation where
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? We're
Fuck it.
we're dressed to prepared. I'm gonna wear the Speedo. You're gonna show off that cute top to me. We're gonna run around in the parking lot in the rain, and we're gonna have fun.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most genuinely pure, sweet, adorable moments. Immediately
is
followed
literally-
by like the biggest gutbuster moment in the entire show.
Pretty much.
Yeah. So
Don't sleep and drive, people.
yeah,
And
I've
what
done
was
that.
the third one? What was the third one? 'Cause
The
there's
third
right?
one is I believe like right before he decides that he's gonna go in the hospital, and just like the pressures of Banri and his anxiety medication. And I felt that portrayal, because as somebody who has anxiety, that was pretty fucking real. And I lost my shit during that. And I was like, yeah, that's it. You just want to fucking yell and scream and cry. And you don't give a fuck. You can go run out in the middle of the street and be like, where the fuck am I? Like, who am I? Like, what the fuck is going on? Because you don't know how to control or bottle up those emotions. You can't. They have to come like fucking spewing out of your mouth and through your body.
Right.
And I think like that part that Mike did was fucking like, sorry, I'm cursing, but I thought it was
Like,
a very
you can't help it at this point.
it was a
Fuck cares,
very raw portrayal of it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh my God, my heart. Like I was like, oh,
So-
I've been there. I've also been in the moment when you're running around in the rain, but I kind of feel you more here.
And that scene, like that part right there, is why I feel like your description of the show is mostly about a guy with amnesia with bits of romance sprinkled in around it is so prompt, because that part is stronger. The emotional parts with him dealing with his anxiety is stronger than the relationship parts are.
Yeah,
I'm not 100% sure I agree with you, but I think it's
And not-
heavier.
Well, and not just him, but also the other characters, who, especially Coco, which we'll get to in a second, who has a lot of baggage to deal with.
Sweet Lord. Like, that's why I was saying, again, early on, like, this show not only handles romance and relationships in an interesting, mature way, it does tackle rather heavy subjects, like amnesia or fucking dissociative disorder.
Or the trauma of surviving a car accident.
There's that. There's codependency, because good lord, when we get to Kaga, fucking hell. Like, it handles some topics that you don't necessarily normally see handled in a mature way, I feel. And strangely enough, Golden Time actually, I think, handles it rather well, personally.
And it's a good thing that those heavier emotional parts happened near the middle of the show, because that's when the dub cast had really gotten more into their
Yes.
stride.
Yeah.
Once
That's why
they
it
hit
fell
the
flatter.
Once they hit the stride, those moments really hit.
They hit hard.
It did make. I'll admit that even though I'm on the dissenter side about watching the dub or the sub,
Yeah.
that scenes did make me forget I was listening to a dub. I definitely got immersed into it.
Yeah, 100%. They sold it.
So,
Yeah.
I love Mike Haimoto as Tadabana.
He's the fucking best.
I really want to go into Christina Kelly next as
Well, I think
Coco
it's-
Kaka.
Can I just say that on Mike's part, yes, you guys are right. He does a really good job on this, and I'm sorry that I haven't heard him in very much before, but it makes me realize how good you have to be just to be competent in voice acting, because like I could easily see like a younger first-timer voice actor going into this, and
See,
it's
here's the catch. Mike Haimoto is still relatively new.
that's right. So it's easy for us to sit here and criticize like what we like and don't like in voice acting, but it is incredibly hard to be an invisible voice actor, to absolutely make someone forget that they are listening to voice acting. And I want to give
Yeah.
Mike props for that, because
Okay.
he did a really good job of taking a character who's not always like dynamic and makes it a listenable English performance. Good job, Mike. So now we can talk about Coco.
I will open.
Disaster, bitch.
I will open with a joke.
Okay. Alright.
Is this? It's
Her
gonna be
name is Coco.
inappropriate.
She is loco. I said, oh no.
Oh, fucking hell. I don't even know where you're going with this.
That's Yarmungand. That's like a whole thing in the. That's like a whole thing in the
Oh.
OST.
I'm sorry. I thought you were doing like a T-Pain song or something.
I did too. I was like,
All I
I
do
thought-
is
I thought
win,
there was some
win,
sort of
win, no
hip-hop
matter what.
reference.
Oh come
thought
on!
you were doing the
It's-
WAP or
it's-
something. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Coco is a very interesting character.
She's a disaster.
She's a disaster bitch.
But we love her.
But here's the thing: she's a disaster bitch
Mm-hmm.
who I genuinely feel for,
Mm-hmm.
and I also, honest to God, do see grow into a better person too.
Yes.
And
Oh,
I
definitely.
I also see like her and Tadabana, their relationship is not great when they start out.
Yes.
It's not great. It effectively kind of started out for her as a rebound
Mm-hmm.
that suddenly got very real.
Yes.
That's what happened. That's what this basically transitions to, is that Tada was the shoulder to cry on
Mm-hmm.
guy who was there for her that she thought was really cute. She really will love and cherish him, and she'll also shove dirty looks at Mitsuo because that'll make him jealous. And then it suddenly deepens and becomes real
Yep.
and genuine. And they're both realizing their fucking problems, because here's the thing, Coco's got some issues. So does Banri.
Mm-hmm.
Banri's got some issues too. He's very they're very making a lot of fucking problems with their decisions. I should go into Christina. Christina
Yes,
is
please.
perfect. I think she genuinely gets everything that Coco needs to get down. I think she, of course, like everybody else, takes a little time to get there. I think by the end of this, she gets every side of Coco down pat. She gets the pettiness. She gets the jealousy. She gets the hoity-toity, holier-than-thou attitude. She gets that disaster bitch. She gets the tsundere. She gets the emotional train wreck that is discovering that she is a mess and learning to try and be better. She gets the drama. She gets the angst. She gets the meanness. She gets the earnest heart of it down pat. She's funny. She's kooky. She's also, in general, just very emotional. She's emotional in that she's angry and petty, but she's also can be sincere and real and really grew a lot as a person and as a girlfriend and partner.
Look, I know we made the joke about Legally Blonde earlier, but the fact that we compared Coco to Elle Woods explains a lot.
It really does.
Like, it kind of, like, I know we joked, but it's the same kind of character type, really.
It clicked.
It really does click.
I think the thing is that, like, she's very petty and possessive and clingy, who suddenly learns she doesn't have to be to know that this guy loves her.
See, like a good amount of the performances in this show, yes, it was a little rough in the beginning, and it took me a little bit to get into. But I think the strengths that Christina shows with this character, it's not in her obsessiveness. It's not in her stalker tendencies. It's not in her bitchy attitude. The thing with Christina's performance that really hits me, I think, the most is the issues that Coco has with codependency. Because, unfortunately, I have dealt with people and have also been that person who has been codependent. And it's not fun.
You're not going to leave us, are you, Stephanie? Please don't leave us.
I don't know how I feel about this conversation.
Well,
I'm
I mean,
sorry.
I know it's not a great conversation.
I was joking, bitch.
Oh, okay. I thought you were being real. I'm like, oh no.
I think we kind of need to be real when we're talking about Coco, too.
Probably, but like, as someone who knows people or has been in relationships with people who have codependency issues, and as a person who long time ago has dealt with codependency problems themselves, like, I fully, God, that was too fucking real for me. First of all, like, and I feel very called out, guys.
Now, I want to ask a question to you about that, Stephanie.
Okay.
About this show, because when I started watching it, I got the feeling that they were kind of making light. They were almost making a joke out of her codependent attitude. Like, did you get the feeling that the show was trying to make almost a joke out of it?
I got more of the joke of her being a stalker and obsessive pain in the ass.
Okay.
I
mean,
got the joke more of that. But when it really came to her issues of
Basically leaning on him.
well, yeah, basically using him as this crutch, as Andrew described it, a quote unquote rebound, for lack of extent here. Like, and then her realizing that she is leaning on him too much and she needs to be her own person. Like
Darn, now I have that song stuck in my head.
lean on me.
Lean on me
But
when you're not strong. Yeah.
hooray, copyright. Not long enough for that to hit. But anyway, like, again, as someone who knows someone or has been in a relationship where codependency can be very toxic, and
Yeah.
as someone who grew out of, thankfully, I hope I did anyway, like, as someone who has tried to come out of her codependency problems and her codependency ways to try and be in a more healthy relationship, like, I'll admit, I sometimes worry that I end up, and I get afraid sometimes where it's like, am I making my current relationship into a codependent one? And thankfully you remind me that I don't, Andrew. But like, I have those insecurities in the back of my mind, and those moments, I think that's what really really sold me on Christina's performance, is a lot of the insecurities that Coco does have, that Christina does portray very well. There are still moments where she's over the top and bitchy that sometimes I don't quite get it. Sometimes, but after the first handful of episodes, those become few and far between.
Okay.
But like, her performance really hits on those insecurities that Coco has, I think. Because I'm able to relate to them very strongly. That's why, like, because of the performance, I'm able to relate to those issues very strongly. And the fact that I can relate to those, I feel like that's a huge benefit to Christina's performance, honestly.
I think, to at least answer your question slightly, Noah, I personally think they play up some of her poor qualities for comedic effect, but I think, like, the more actual dramatic ones about her as a person and her relationship with Bonnery, they actually do treat pretty genuinely seriously.
Yes.
Like, the one that really got me when I realized, oh god, she's learning, she's improving, and they are actually a healthy couple I want to see succeed, is pretty much after Wake Up Call, because Wake Up Call is literally, as the title says, where things get real for them after the whole Wake Up Call thing, where they had that sort of reconciliation dramatically.
Yes.
I love like when they're actually talking to Linda about stuff with the past casually and she's learning new things. She has this revelation where it's like, I kind of learned about you. There's things about you I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
There's things about you I don't like. But I love all of you, even the things I don't like about you, because I care about you, and me wanting to care about you is me learning to accept everything that is you, not just the things that are convenient for me.
Right.
Everything about you. And I'm like, holy shit, she's got it. I think she's got it.
It's like, hallelujah.
Anyways, Christina's really good, and I think she actually gets all of Coco down really good. Coco is a character that, like, pissed me off, but I actually really felt for her and really... God, her development as a character is crazy. I actually really like her as a character. I think it's interesting that we're exploring relationships like this, even if they're uncomfortable and problematic, and seeing them work through it.
Again, some of the intricacies of these relationships are things that you don't normally touch upon in a show, in a mature setting.
Mike and Christina carry this dub for me. Period.
So...
I need a drink. I need a chill.
He needs more
Where
water.
can you get a drink? What bar can you get a drink from?
Oh, geez.
I mean,
wow.
I have alcohol in my cabinets, but the boy don't drink, so.
Woof.
So,
Christina Kelly, like, I was kind of confused by this, to be honest, because
Okay.
again, at the beginning, takes about 7 episodes to get into her character.
Yes.
Whereas I feel that Adam Gibbs started out at a 10 and was firing from all cylinders at the get-go, Coco had to fire all cylinders and started a 10 from the get-go. But my issue in the beginning was mostly that I didn't believe it. Like, Coco is very bougie, I know, because I am basically Coco. So she's very bougie. She's really pissed off all the time. And she's like, when she loves something, she loves something. When she hates something, she hates something. Now, the difference between me and Coco is that Coco's not afraid to tell you that she fucking hates you. And I'll be like, oh, you're awesome.
Yeah. One of the early points that they make about Coco is she doesn't exactly know how to properly express herself.
Exactly.
Well,
that's a huge point in the beginning.
Yeah, I was gonna how to properly differentiate which things she should and shouldn't express, because she just expresses everything.
Right, she's a hot mess. But for the
that's why she's a disaster bitch, and why we fucking love her. It's great.
Well,
okay, those listening out there, take a shot every time you hear the word disaster bitch in this episode.
Yeah.
I know we're almost done with it.
You're gonna be destroyed. Rip your liver and kidneys.
Oh my god!
Make it a light drink. Make it a light drink.
A light drink. I honestly feel that when Coco is crying or having some kind of mental breakdown, that Christina Kelly's freaking fantastic. When she does some of like the over the top bougie stuff, like I'm not in it. And I think this again has to do with the scripting and the lip flaps, because there's just so many parts where Coco will say Mitsuo, but it's drawn out the way in the Japanese where you have to say it in sort of like a sing-songy way. And I just didn't feel that where the tonal parts went were like the way that they should be. And she says, I love you. And it's really weird tonally. And I'm just like, I don't know where that choice came from. I don't know if that's a choice that I like. But when Christina gets real with Coco, and when Coco realizes she can drop some of the bouginess, I think that that's where she really shines in her performance. But the towards the end, man, when she's out there with Banri, and oh my god, my fucking heart.
That hurts.
My fucking heart. I wish we could have had audio when Banri sees Coco out the car window.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that would have been a nice moment for Christina. Unfortunately, we didn't get it, so that's not her fault.
I think like if there wasn't a sound effect there, it wouldn't have been in the dub too.
Yeah, I just
which
I want to love this, so I'm almost at loving it. Like I just not that
you're
it's
at like
not
9 out of 10.
8 out of 10. It's not bad.
Not even 8.5.
8 out of 10. I think I know because when I'm over the top, I'm super fucking over the top. And you can tell. You can tell when I'm putting on a voice or doing kinds of weird things to over dramatize something.
We've known you. Luckily, we've known you long enough, Gigi. We love you for it.
Exactly. But I mean,
we wouldn't have you any other way.
When she was doing some of these things, I didn't love it. And I'm like, is that how people feel about me? They just don't love it.
Well, I feel like the show had the problem of some people believe that if you show some characters acting a certain way in a show, that the show itself is approving of that. It's showing that this is a attitude or a persona that we approve of because it's the main character. And Christina had to express that this is not a character who you want to emulate. And yes, we're getting some comedic effects out of it because, she's over the top and crazy and it's a cartoon. But I don't think that her, when she's being more bougie and extra, for lack of a better word, that we were supposed to relate to, not relate to that, what's what I'm looking for, that we were supposed to empathize with that.
But I almost feel like it was supposed to be played up for comedy, and
no, yeah.
In the earlier episodes, yeah,
it wasn't funny.
It was kind of trying to do the Toradora thing, I think, where it's Taiga trying to beat up, what's his name? I forget who his name was. Yeah, was trying, beat him up with a big stick. Was supposed to be this is supposed to be wacky, and it not, this is gonna get the police called on you, like it probably should have been. So yeah, I think the show itself, not the dub, but the show had a little tone problem to get over with. Do we make fun of stalker girls? Do we get joy out of this? Or do we not do that? And half the show, they lessened off.
On the plus side with Coco's character, they got rid of the whole stalker thing fairly quickly, which is good. Because if that
it was part of her character development.
It was part of her character development. Because if that shtick was going to stand the whole show, I would not like Coco as much.
She stalked him half the show. What are you talking about? She stalked him all the way to that bar and then smacked him in the face.
Oh yeah, she picked it back up for one episode. That's true.
That was full-on insecurity and antitrust, but the reality is Bonri also kind of broke that trust too.
I mean, that's called college.
They both had valid points, but they both fucked up.
They're both at fault.
That's the thing. That was the worst. That was the low point of their relationship, where it's oh man, you gotta fix something about this. This is not working for you two right now.
Yep.
Seriously, guys out there, if your girl tells you, I don't want you to get a job, I want you to only spend time with me all the time, don't do that. Run away. Please run away.
And here's me, I'm go to grad school.
They were both being very unreasonable.
No,
make me more money.
Don't get a secret cross-dressing job without telling your girlfriend.
Yes. That's the moral of the story.
Andrew.
All right. Noah, you got anything to say about Christina Kelly, or are we gonna bounce?
I would tell you immediately. I'd ask her to do my makeup.
I'm the wrong person to ask to do anyone's makeup. Thank you very much. So you're on your own.
Still better than me. Anyways,
to answer your question, Gigi. To answer your question, Gigi, I like Christina Kelly's performance more in the second half than the first half, but I want to give her more credit. I do want to give her a lot of credit because when she starts out, she has to be this wild girl that could have easily been unlikable, and we know that she's the poster character, that she's going to be the main character. So if your audience dislikes her from the get-go, it's going to be hard to like her when she becomes a more well-rounded character. So I like that Christina had this assertive, even-tempered tone from the start that's a little bougie, but one that could evolve into the sweeter, kinder Coco that we got later on. So I think she did a good job. And agree with the notion that these two kind of carry the show in and of itself. There's definitely a pitfall that could have come from if these two weren't acted as well as they were, which they were. They were definitely well worth the listen.
Which I will also give major ups to Coco's character as well as Christina's portrayal of her in the last couple episodes, because as those it is simultaneously like heartbreaking seeing her react the way she does, but it also kind of dawned on me having like discussions about it.
Mhm.
This is a defense mechanism right now.
Yeah.
Like, any normal, well-adjusted, put-together person would be fucking losing it if their partner was quite literally dissociating and losing their sense of self. Now imagine being Coco Kaga, who is basically a batshit person who is just almost, kind of, actually almost a person, having to deal with that.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically her way of saying, I have to be this mean and terrible and overdramatic about it, because otherwise I'm just gonna break down and fucking lose it.
That did make me not dislike her anymore at the end of episode 21, just saying.
I don't disagree, but it's also just my revelation of how this character works. It's like, yeah, this is a safety mechanism. Though I think the way they went about it with the end of 21, I'm like, what the fuck are you going for?
I don't think it's that she's gonna mentally break down. It's that she, coming from her perspective, she probably thinks that it's her fault that Tada can't seem to keep himself together to an extent. That she's like, the only way I'm going to be able to help him is if I'm nowhere near him.
Which, by the way, the level of composure and, like, maturity she had to show when she shows up on Christmas and he mistakes her for Oka. It's like, oh, wait, I read about this. You're Oka, right? And she just kind of smiles and bears it. I'm like, oh my god.
Yep.
That is development, because I fully expected her to pull out a package of roses out of nowhere and smack him in the head like episode 1.
She knows that
she was patient.
This is pain and patience, but she's doing her best. That actually made that reunion like all the more like, oh god, I actually want these two to work out. Fuck. They're disaster bitches, but they're my disaster bitches.
God damn it.
Shot.
You're gonna be vomiting and hungover in the morning. Sorry, guys.
You might as well join the tea club by the end of it.
Go, God.
I would have so joined the tea club.
All right, bitches.
They look like fun.
Well, let's work this out. Let's have our final thoughts on Golden Time. Let's just talk about the dub. I know y'all want to wax poetic on the anime as a whole, but
yes,
God.
I'll go.
Fair.
Let me go first, and I'll make it brief. So, I'll be brief about the story part. It's a melodramatic romance that manages to somehow be mature when it comes to very interesting, dark and interesting topics. That being said, the dub itself, it's not easy to start getting into. It is rough for almost half of its runtime, which is very unfortunate. But as the show progresses, and I think what really hits the best is in those dark, dramatic moments where you have a lot of these darker materials and this development in relationships. So it starts out rough, and a lot of people, there are going to be people who are going to be turned off by this. I already sensed the scenting in the back from Mr. No a Clue, for example. But I could be wrong. But for people like probably myself and like Gigi, this is something you will like a lot, because this is the kind of shit we love. But it will take a little bit of time to get into dub-wise. Do not use the 3-episode rule. Do not use the 3-episode rule in terms of judging this dub. That's horrible. That's a horrible guideline to go by for this. But the more you get into it, I think it's worth it in the end. There are still a good amount of rough patches with some of the stilted dialogue, and some issues here and there. But by the end of it, I think it's a really fun and meaningful experience, at least to me. And I'm very happy to finally rewatch the show after 7 fucking years. Holy crap. But, yeah, the dub's not going to be for everyone. But despite some of the early flaws and some that go throughout, I think it's a fun dub overall.
Okay.
I'm done.
I mean, I know you called me out as being the dissenter on this.
You also said yourself you're going to be the dissenter, so...
And I want to thank you for that, because you are absolutely correct. You win the prize. Because this dub is definitely not been one of the stronger ones I've heard this year. And we've all pointed that out. And it's not just the first third of the show. It's entirely a problem of capturing the balance that the show had in English dub work. And I do believe that it could have been handled better. And I don't have, interviews with any of the cast or the behind the scenes staff to find out if they did have trouble with adapting this, or if they, just felt that something could have been improved after it was all finished. I'm not sure. But I do know that in listening to the dub, I've heard better dubs, I've heard better melodramatic dubs, I've heard better melodramatic dubs based on JC staff's shows. So, but I don't want to disparage the good parts they do, because there are good parts. This is not an absolutely worthless dub by no means at all. It's just that it doesn't have I don't feel it has enough consistency in order to recommend it, and that really is going to take you out of it if you're a little hypercritical on the dubs. So,
Yep.
I mean, I don't recommend the show itself entirely. I like a different kind of trash. Handshakers is totally my trash. But for this kind of a show, if you're into this, if you're into this kind of melodramatic, magical amnesia kind of show, go ahead and give it a try. I would just personally recommend probably watching it in sub.
Okay.
Please don't kill me.
Why would we kill you?
Because then I'll become a zombie, and then I'll get amnesia, and then it'll be a sequel to Zombieland Saga, and then it'll just be this whole big thing.
I've seen that anime. Go ahead, Andrew.
I mean that's cool. Are you gonna start up an idol group as well?
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah, let's go. Anyway.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, so the emotional roller coaster I've had watching the show was not one I anticipated. Everything I got from the show was nowhere near what I expected.
That's why I didn't tell you much about it.
I'm glad you didn't, but I can
forgot
say,
half of it anyway.
Gigi, I'm glad I'm here right now watching this for you. This dub, I will definitely say it's. I would say the term janky is what I would use. Janky is not what I would consider a negative per se, but that does not mean it is like it does not show its edges.
Yeah.
It's got some foibles, especially with regards to sometimes a little too literal of a English script, and a couple of performances that take a lot longer to get into than most. But I think a lot of like the actual like dramatic, like sincere performances really shine through, especially in like the rest of the show, especially after you hit like the halfway mark for sure. They start shining spectacularly. Majorly was impressed by both Mike Himoto and Christina Kelly, especially with the work that they were pulling off with Tadabonari and Coco Kaga. I think this is not a perfect show. Okay, sorry. I don't think this is a perfect dub, but I think the show is surprisingly more... oh my god.
You were very surprised at what this show became.
I did not expect this was what this show was going to be. I think overall I liked it, but I'm still not even sure what I would rate it. Like I said, it was a cute show that became an uncomfortable show that became a very uncomfortable show that became an actually kind of satisfying overall package.
So, I'm gonna take a guess. If I had to describe it, if Noah's the dissenting party on the show and the dub as a whole, and if Gigi and I'm assuming Gigi, for the most part, loves it.
You're
in
find
the
out.
middle.
How'd you guess?
You're in the middle, it sounds like. Oh, okay, we'll just compare me and Noah. You're in between me and Noah, basically, is what you're telling me. That sound accurate?
I don't think I would want Noah in between us.
No, you're in between me and Lilac.
You're in between the two of us. You're in between Noah and I.
You are under neither of our umbrellas.
Yes.
Okay.
You're kind of this middle ground.
Noah, you are facing the other way in this scenario. I'm just saying.
Fucking hell!
Oh my god.
Okay.
Oh, shit. Are you done?
I'm done. This was a good show. I'm glad I watched it. I do recommend the dub.
Okay.
What did I ever do to you?
I don't know what's going on anymore.
This show has brought the bitch out in me.
Apparently.
You're all disaster bitches. All right. Let me just
Hell
end
yeah.
this.
I never said I wasn't, so you're right.
Let me
we are all like newspapers. We got issues.
Nah.
You know what, Noah?
Oh, yes, I love it. I applaud you.
Noah,
That's a good one.
No, I've dunked on you a lot tonight. That was good.
Thank you, Andrew. I love you too.
Oh,
Love you too,
Lordy.
Lou.
Well, let me just finish this off by saying, number one, because I promised I would have this conversation in the episode and I forgot all about it. The second OP is the fucking best thing I've ever heard, but Noah hates it because it's very discordant. It's like the musicality is very discordant, but if you think about it, it starts off very quiet because Coco's like, this is how I should be with my life and my relationship. Everything should be calm and happy, and then bam, all of a sudden all of her fucking shit starts swirling around like those stars in the staircase that she's climbing up. So if you listen to the musicality of the song, it's very loud and it's very not in line with what the lyrics are, and it
becomes a bit chaotic.
It hits you in this emotional place in your heart where you're like, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't necessarily like it, but this is something that's happening in my life right now, and here it is. And then at the end, she's sitting on that fucking bench and she's by herself, and you see Bonri come up and his eyes are covered, so you don't really know if it's him or not, and he places his hand over hers. And I swear to God, the first time I watched this, they had different versions of the OP where she was by herself in some of the episodes.
I think I remember that actually.
Yeah, there were. I remember there were the second opening shows her as being all alone in a good chunk of them.
Okay, then I wasn't losing my mind.
The home video version has Bonri in there, but I think in the original broadcast that's what they did.
I mean, that was what was on High Dive. So
okay.
Oh, is it?
So that must have been because we were skipping the opening a bunch.
I skipped it too because I had to get through it.
Yeah, same.
That did stand out.
I did not know. I did not know that.
You're right,
That's
Gigi,
really
because
cool.
it is interesting when a romance anime, first opening is the two main characters dancing around in, rainbow
Sunshine,
splotches,
rainbow lollipops.
and then you've got the second opening where. Where's the lead guy? Why is it just the girl all by herself?
I think that's the whole main thing with the contrasting openings. Like, you have the all sunshine and rainbows thing, but then when you get to the second opening, it's like
the visuals are
this heartbreak and the swirl of emotions that you actually go through in a relationship.
The heartbreaks, the hardships, and the true.
It's just
everything's
it's just
spiraling out of control.
That's exactly the point of that OP.
I mean, if I was gonna do that, I would pick like I would pick like an Ali project opening, like the Shigo Fumi opening, as like this is chaotic, atonal kind of music that matches the emotion.
Did you just suggest Ali project?
Of course I did. Yes, I am from the 2000s.
I can see
I
it.
can kind of see it, but I also I can kind of see it and hear it. But now I have the opening for another in my head. And now I'm gonna tell you, bitch, fuck no.
Well, this show's a little not enough hot topic for Ali Project.
That's
so
true.
that out of the way.
Nana can't carry it all on her own.
That out of the way.
Sorry.
I love this anime. I've loved it since I first watched it. It broke my heart into little tiny pieces, and it made me watch more anime. So for that, I'm eternally grateful. And like I said, when I heard it was getting a dub, I was like fucking crazy about it because I've waited so long because this got swept under Sentai's rug. And I was like, it's never going to get a dub. I'm going to have this shitty 2 DVD set released forever, subtitled only. And then it got one, and I was super happy. And I found out like Mike Himoto was in it, and I was like, holy shit. Like, I was just talking about him, and now he's the lead in something. Like, this is fucking great. Like, I'm so excited. And I'm so sad that like the first fucking 7 episodes are just so rough, and it like eats me up inside because I really want to love 100% of this, and I just something about the writing, the directing, the acting, it's something about just that first part. It hurts. Like, it literally hurts to watch it. And I was just like, oh, please let this get better. Please let this get better.
But to get to the main point of it, do you think that's because they were just getting used to the material, or do you think that the show itself was just that disjunct?
No, I think even if they were just getting used to the material, it shouldn't take them 7 episodes.
Right. I
I'd give
agree.
them 3, maybe 4 tops. Like something was really off in that first batch of episodes, and I don't know what it
Yes.
is. I mean, I know what it is, but I don't know why it is, and why it
Okay.
like, why it got better as it went on. I will say that
Well, I mean, yeah.
the emotional parts of the performances, the way that certain things were acted, especially for Tada, for Coco, for the comedic value of some of the other characters, like it took a long time. But when it hit the stride, I think it hit the stride. It wasn't perfect when that stride hit, but it was something that I wanted to listen to. Whereas
Okay.
I was really missing Yui Horie in the first 7 episodes. So, I mean, I love this show, so I would watch it any way you threw it at me. I think I watched this on fan subs back in the day, to be quite honest with you.
Me too.
Remember those days, people?
Yeah.
Those long halcyon days before everything was getting simulcasted.
But I
before everything was simulcast and before Crunchyroll became a big deal.
yeah, so like I would watch this. However, I feel so guilty and I feel so sad that I can't 100% love it. But once it hits the stride, it hits the stride. So
Yep.
I would say, fuck this. Watch the first 7 episodes subtitled, and then switch to
Gigi,
the dub.
I respect your honesty. I really respect your sincerity.
Well, you know how I am. I'm just like, I gotta tell it like it is, and it's in my
Yeah, you do.
shoujo trashy nature. I want you to really enjoy this anime and all the garbage that it has to offer.
Yeah.
So with that being said, and it also will give you a nice comparison for the acting performances of the Japanese voice actors versus the English ones. So
Oh, definitely.
I'd say watch it in subtitles till you get to episode 7 and then switch.
I don't think I'd ever recommend doing that with any show. If you're gonna
I
watch a show,
usually
I
would-
honestly would never do that.
I usually
do that all
wouldn't
the
either, but I
time.
also
stick to one.
about to say everybody has their own way of watching things, so some people probably would go with Gigi's recommendation and it works just fine for them. So like you never know.
I can understand if that's the only way you can do it. Like something like Kodacha, you can only watch the first show with a English dub. You can't watch the second half with an English dub. So you would have to watch it in 2 different audio styles.
Or you could watch it all in Japanese.
I'm sorry, you know what I mean. You know that there is no availability for the second season.
There is now.
I'm in a dub. I'm what am I trying to say here?
I understand what you're saying. I get you. But
It's late at night, and I've had 5,000 shots from these guys saying.
I know. We're
and
ending
over.
this, fam. Don't worry. And
Sorry, we destroyed your liver.
I will be
I didn't need it
cutting
anyway.
lots of this out. I feel it already in my bones. So
Yeah.
Happy 5th anniversary. Love you, disaster bitches.
God
yeah.
damn it.
Happy
that's one
5th
more.
anniversary. We're
Happy anniversary.
we're Dub Talk. You can find us on Twitter, on Tumblr, I guess Instagram, the Podbean, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the YouTubes at Dub Talk or Dub Talk
You find us all
Podcast.
over the place.
That's what we're on. You can listen to us on the go, or you can listen to us in your faceful.
Right now, I'm talking like I'm in the first 7 episodes of Golden Time.
God damn it.
But we do want to thank with special past episode 7 acting our awesome Patreon supporters. So let me go ahead and pull them up right now. You can support us on Patreon if you go to patreon.com/dubtalk
Dub Talk Podcast.
podcast
Dub Talk Podcast. Yep.
Yes.
and give us money. Thanks. No, really.
You can
Thank
also
you.
Tell us episodes to watch.
Yeah, really? Oh, yeah, that's right. We are. But thank you so much to Crimson Echidna, Michelle Travis, Miraculous Corazon. I'm trying not to laugh. Nico Robin, but with yaoi hands. And
Thanks, Jackson.
Victor May. God damn it. And Victor May Barada. And then in our
May
$10.
May Borda.
May what?
May Borda.
Sorry, Victor May Borda. I just got handed this list 10 minutes ago.
You're welcome.
And in our $10 tier, thank you so much to Carly Lesticow, Jacob Wilson, J2, aka Jared, Marissa Lenti, and Otaku Anthony. Thank you so much for supporting this train wreck.
You guys are awesome,
We
and you
appreciate it.
deserve to be on the O camera.
Yeah, camera for everyone. But I'm not
Yeah,
shooting your
I wish we could've
OnlyFans.
seen the
That's a
whole
little
movie.
weird.
I was really looking forward to this show becoming Memento halfway through when she whipped out the camera.
Yeah.
Real quick for the people in the back, where can you watch Golden Time?
On High Dive, or you can buy it
High
on
Dive.
Blu-ray, despite the flaw on disc 1.
Despite the slight defect on episode 8 for some reason.
You
eight,
can also
8
watch
for
it.
us, maybe 9 for Gigi. I don't know.
Look, if you're just watching it straight and you're not skipping through anything, you're fine.
Yeah.
You can also watch it in sub on Crunchyroll.
Cool, Noah. Where
I
can
don't know,
people
that's
stalk
karma.
you?
That's just you fact checking.
Cool.
That's just being responsible and fact checking at this point.
Happy 5th
Cool.
anniversary.
Yes, it is.
Dub Talk is canceled.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm Coco and all you bitches. Where can we stalk you on the internet?
Check back in next year where we're going to rebrand this whole podcast to be about
Noah.
something else.
I don't know. Anyway, my name is Stephanie. I'm sometimes also known as Lilac. You can follow me on Twitter at Lilac Anime Review, with review being spelled REVUE. I also have a blog that is in massive need of updating, Life and Times, otaku.wordpress.com.
My name is Andrew, aka Classy Spartan. You can follow me on Twitter at MangaMan9000. You can also follow my other anime podcast, Joint Podcast O&A, over on Surreal Resolution, where we talk about the latest and greatest in anime news with fellow Dub Talk podcast cohort Jet.
My name is Noah Clue. You can follow me on Twitter at Noah Clue, where I post pictures of my children and like to argue about cartoons from all over the world, because there is more animation out there than just the Isle of Japan.
But,
Or you can find me
mostly
at my...
his kids, who are very adorable.
Oh, they're sweethearts.
Thank you so much. And you guys are amazing aunts and uncles too. They're very lucky to have you guys as part of the big
Aw.
nerd
Aw.
family.
God bless.
And my name is Gigi, and I quit.
Oh,
God damn it!
Mwah! Good night, everybody.
Hashtag Andrew is over party. Hashtag Noah Clue is canceled. Hashtag you
Woohoo!
can follow me. Y'all know. And if you don't, well, stalk me. Just be like Coco Kaga. Everything is fine.
Jesus.
Oh, but listen to my other podcast where we're currently talking about Garbage Like White album,
Yay!
which no one has heard of, but my
I've
boyfriend
heard
like,
of it,
told
but
me
never
to do it.
seen it.
I've heard of two.
Wait, you
I
mean
didn't know
like
there
the
was
Beatles
one.
album?
No, like the anime White album. Yeah.
That's a discussion for another day. Yeah, that's
Rap-
a thing that exists.
Wrap
I may
your
need
head
to
around
follow up
that.
on this.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Most definitely. No Beatles music, though.
Sad
That
face.
sounds sacrilege.
Well,
but...
I know.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, that's the end. We didn't have any fucking cake for this anniversary. I'm kind of like salty.
I'm sorry. It's my
The
fault.
frickin' Tea Club stole it all.
Those
they got-
drunk bitches.
No kidding.
I mean, you could try and go get it, but I think you might have to sumo for it, dude.
Anyways.
This has been a public service announcement. Don't join the Tea Club. Join Dub Talk instead.
Join Dub Talk instead. You can subscribe, you can follow us, you can give us money. Do what you
Thanks
gotta
for
do.
5 awesome years, people. You
Yes,
listeners are
thank you.
amazing. And thanks for helping us get to, as of this recording, almost 5,000 subscribers.
Yes,
Woo!
thank you.
We are very close.
What are we doing
Very-
for year number 6?
Nothing.
We'll figure.
Nothing. We're
We'll-
going back to sleep, Gigi.
We'll cross that road when
Can-
we get there.
Can we cover, like, Soviet cartoons instead?
No.
Like 12 months of nothing but Soviet cartoons.
No.
I'm just
Noah,
going to do a
Noah,
whole
Noah.
episode on the Harley Quinn animation that you can now find on HBO Max, along with many other fine cartoons.
They ain't paying us. Fuck off.
They're paying me. I don't know that you guys didn't get slipped that check, but you know.
Heck no.
I
I'm being sponsored
wish.
by...
All right.
I'm being sponsored by Cartoon Saloon. Go watch Wolfwalkers on Apple Plus, people.
God damn it.
All
Go
right.
fucking
No,
watch
seriously.
Infinity Train if we're advertising cartoons. Fuck.
Oh my god.
Go the fuck to bed. Jesus Christ.
You're all fucking canceled. Love your faces.
Aloha!
Otaku-on. Love your faces.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah!